Welcome back to another episode of Times New Roman, where we read books, and now it is time to talk about Iron Flame. Your boys finished Iron Flame. Before we get into Iron Flame, just a couple housekeeping announcements. We are thinking about switching up how we're going to do the videos. We haven't completely come up with an idea yet. Our goal, obviously, is to start Onyx Storm, but given how the three of us have jobs and lives, we're probably going to tone it back just a tiny bit on how much we read. We might go back to doing like 100 pages, 150 pages. We're kind of just going to figure it out as we go. So let us know in the comments below what you guys think we should do. If you guys think it's better for us to keep doing what we're doing, if you guys like that, we'll find a way to do it. And if not, then, we'll kind of tone it back a little bit and we'll keep it going from there. Also, before we get into Iron Flame, just a hot take already from Greg wearing a Yankee hat after all of the news this week with Derek Holt needing Tommy John and the whole team falling apart. But yeah.
We can't talk. Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about baseball here. Don't upset me. Don't upset me. But we already have enough hot takes. We're about to spew on Iron Flame here. I already know, Nick, I might be ripping you to pieces. At least your emotional state when I hit you with some of these takes that are going to be coming later. So stick around for those. Yeah.
All right, we'll see how it is. So, Will was a doll and made us little cheat sheets to talk about, so we don't get off track today. So let's talk about. I'm not going to read that note, but let's talk about chapter 37.
Chapter 37.
Well, let's do the end of part one first, because Greg did not finish.
How did you like the end of part one? Will is correct.
Well,
how did you like the end?
We ended with Greg saying that Varish was a dog, and great character.
He is a dog, dude.
He has left us.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie.
He is a goner.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, goner.
I have mixed opinions on that because I don't think he died the way I wanted him to die. I wanted him to have a sicker death. And I'm also really upset because my other dog, Dane, had to kill him, bro. Why are the villains killing each other like this? It really shouldn't be like that. Dude, I'm actually kind of upset. Actually, Varish is one of my top characters. I was really hoping that he was going to have a sick plot line in Onyx Storm or something like that. But after he died, my whole world flipped, and the whole plot just ran away from me. It went to a completely different dimension. I was expecting we're going to sit in the school for longer. We're going to have some Basquiat and Atria's kind of battle more. But no, that whole plot line ran out the window, and we went down a different path. But
I mean, yeah, it literally could have been two different books. It makes perfect sense why it was separated into part one and part two the way she did it.
So, fun fact for you, that it actually was originally written as two different books. And then Red Tower stepped in and said they wanted it to be one book. So Rebecca Yarros said, okay, we'll make it one book. But I think, listen, at the end of the day, where the book ends, they're still at the school. They went back to the school. So they're still at the school. And you'll see, Greg, I think you'll like Onyx Storm just based on the fact that, you're hey, listen, I wish they were still in school. It picks up right where Iron Flame, gets, left off. And, they are still at Biscayev. They don't go back to Orisha. It's a whole thing, and it works perfectly. But I don't disagree with you that when I read it, I originally wanted Varys to live a little longer. I was happy that he died, but I wanted him to cause more pain to Xaden, because I felt obviously he was causing so much pain to Violet, which I understand. Some people will say that did cause pain to Xaden. But when I was reading it for the first time, I was damn, I don't want him to die. However, I will say this. I now have changed my mind on that, and now I'm glad he died when he died, because there was one thing that when I first read, I didn't remember, and I want to see if you guys remembered. When they're at RSC the first time, and they do the serum, and they say, oh, the serum's brand new. Tiernan says, I can feel everything. I know where I can feel everything, I just can't talk to you, right? Mm-hmm. So that broke my heart when you realize he felt her being tortured, heard her talk to Liam, all of that stuff, but couldn't do anything about it. And I'm like, yo, I'm
Yeah.
so glad Varys died. Fuck him, dude.
Dude, honestly, you re-tripped the last in my brain because the whole Liam like ghost subconscious stuff like sticks back in my brain because it's really comforting to actually know that like her like I don't really know how to describe it. I guess her inner voice or whatever is just Liam. Like whenever she is in full distress, full disclosure, and it's kind of like it's a really sweet like gesture to him because in real life he was that person that protected her, and then now even in his death he still now guards her mind almost from kind of abandoning herself. So it's very interesting. I like that little nod to him, even though he's dead, he's still here, which is sick because Liam is the best character in the book. So I like that he still kind of lingers in her mind a little bit.
I agree. I think Liam's great. I mean, go ahead, Will.
Oh, agreed. Liam's still one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
But just talking about this, I was thinking that more likely than not, we know that Violet's probably going to have a second signet, I feel like. Not confirmed, but like if we're going off that. What if the second signet is like Quinn's reanimation thing or whatever, where she can like summon or like broadcast other people and she's just like broadcasting Liam?
That's a fun take. I will. So I'll give you a little, that's a really fun take, actually. And when I was in your guys' shoes, nobody theorized that. That's a good take. I will say this, though. Everything you need to know about her second signet is in Iron Flame. And I will also tell you this. Nobody in the fandom guessed it right. And Rebecca Yaros actually said in an interview, she was like, I was kind of disappointed in you guys because I thought I made it very obvious. And she's like, but nobody got it. There is something... And now, of course, now that I know it, I'm like, I'm an idiot. Like, holy shit, we're all fucking stupid. Like, it was right there in front of us. But like, no, it's that's a good theory, though. I like that. It's interesting.
Because like off of when she's like peppering Xaden about his, she's like talking about like really emphasizing like what you need and like dissecting everything. And like I eventually like throughout that like figured out like, oh, that might be Xaden's. But like through that and then
jumping all over the place. We're already on Xaden's second segment.
I know,
Dang.
but we're just focusing on Violet. I was like really thinking that it was gonna come out when she was with Sawyer, like at the end of the book.
Oh,
Like, I was trying to
him.
think like what the need is, like something like the need was gonna come out to either help save him or like heal him at the end. But like obviously we still don't know.
I personally thought the second signet was going to come out when she's powering the stone or imbuing not the Auracia stone, but the the Basgiath stone. I don't want to get I don't want to get too far into the weeds on that because we're going to talk about that later. But that's where I was thinking.
Moving, but that was just.
But
Greg, keep it rolling. I know you have the doc up, but when Greg figures out what's next, I will hand up. I will throw my hand up here. Greg was correct. Going back, and because I edit the videos, going back and editing the videos, when Greg was pointing, he was going like this, and on my screen and on Will's screen, he was pointing the wrong way. However, Greg wins because Greg records his screen. So because on his screen it's opposite of ours, Greg was technically correct and he was pointing in the right direction. So Greg, I just want to give you your flowers and tell you were right.
You know, for the audience at home, when I'm right, you're right. So just remember that because you see what I see and they're wrong. So kudos to us. Kudos to us. That's all I have to say.
Oh my god.
Is there anything else on the end of part 1 that you guys want to talk about?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah. Greg, how'd you feel about learning where the scars came from?
That's right. That is the end of part 1.
Yeah,
how'd you feel about that?
Well, we already learned about where the scars came from because she learns. She learns about that from the one-on-one fight with Dain on the mat.
Yeah, when I'm saying like
but she like doesn't believe it yet.
Yeah,
because she like still has no trust for Dain.
Like okay, she does hear personally from her mother. Yeah, but I also wanted to say I want to give myself a self pat on the back. I knew that Lilith was good this entire time. She was playing the politics.
Hand up, I was completely wrong about Lilith. Not necessarily completely, because she's a fucking strange cat. Like the shit that
Greg,
goes on with her character.
Mhm.
That was one of those days when I was like, you guys get so much right, but so much wrong. And that was one of the things you got right. That Lilith was good and she was playing along. Yeah.
I'm proud of that one.
Oh, yeah.
There's still pieces to her that I'm still trying to unlock because you did bring up.
Mystery.
Because if we're going back to Fourth Wing, like the first book, you brought up like this. We're talking like couple chapters in at the parapet. Still rings in my mind when you brought up that it starts raining when she crosses the parapet, and then all of a sudden it stops raining. That still crosses my brain a little bit as to like why have it
That
rain?
was they confirmed that in I don't
Yeah, they
remember if it was Iron Flame or Fourth Wing. They confirmed that she didn't do it.
Yeah, it's part 1 of Iron Flame. They confirmed that she didn't do it.
Oh, actually, no. Now that you bring it up,
Yeah.
that does make
Because
sense.
Nick like made it
That
seem
does make sense.
like the way he brought it up to us to like be thinking about it. I was like, oh, that's what happened. And then she's like, oh yeah, she would never do that. But like it was just my luck that I got fucked. Like it started raining.
It's just coincidental.
Yeah.
Okay, no, you're right. Actually, I do remember that. All right. Damn. Okay. I don't know where I was going with that, but
And then also, I wanted to let you know, Greg, where you were like, I don't think like Zayden's like the leader of the revolution and stuff like that. The end of part 1 kind of proves. That's why I was like, keep reading. Violet's the leader.
dude,
Like, even though, what?
I'm telling you, I would have some crazy takes on that.
Violet's the leader because like, even though like she's not in charge, like she got the whole school to leave. Pretty much the whole school to leave.
Oh yeah, I just want to say I was going to give a little taste of what my thoughts are. Satan's a little submissive little boy. That's all I have to say.
Oh, yeah.
A little submissive little boy. I mean, just want to sprinkle this in. You like he's Ryerson, like his family name. He has all the providence of that land. Oratia is all his, and he is like, maybe he might be a guy of democracy, wants an assembly, wants votes and stuff like that, but also will swing around and be like, no, I'm going to make the final say. But there's numerous times where he just curls up in the corner and it's like, can someone else make a decision for me? Vi, can you make the decision for me? Brennan, what are we doing here, dude? You have crazy cool powers. You read everyone's mind and you're over here. I need you to tell me what to do. So I just want to throw a little shade at Zayden here. Probably my boy Dane. Dane would never do that. Dane knows how to handle a situation. You know what I mean? And also Zayden is having this little Old Testament, New Testament where his whole mind is changing. He went from being staunch, I'm going to execute Amber in front of everybody, to now I can't even make a damn decision on my own. Softness.
He explains that it's because of Violet. And he even says that in Iron Flame. He's like, I've never cared for somebody like you. Like, that's what he says. He's like, you're changing me.
Says it 12 different times.
Yeah, multiple different times throughout the book, dude.
Dude, that makes me think that her second signet is the same as Kat's, and she's heightening his emotions or something like that because he is being soft, insecure, weak.
All right. Let's get back on track.
I'm sorry, pissing everyone.
We can get back on track and go into part 2.
Yeah, let's talk
or
about
do you
part
want
2.
to talk about some part 1? Part 2, we learn right away that Zayden's the heir, or the heir to Tyrandor, or it's implied and then it's later confirmed. But then second chapter into part 2, Andarna appearance goes hard. She's fucking got the black scales and the fucked up wing, which Tiernan says that she's never gonna
later on.
Yeah.
Well, that we could go into Andarna now, but black scales as of now, and then Tiernan says no rider ever, and then I also was focused on because Violet points out that she has the scorpion tail, and then in part 1,
do you know why she has the scorpion tail?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Tiernan says that dragons pick their tails based off need. So I was like, what do you guys think the need is? Because I originally thought that Bionic Storm are in this book.
You should know it by this book.
Okay, well, my thoughts were that it might come in something or later. It might help her fly better if that is going to happen. I don't know how it would, but maybe something like that. But also it's what she used to kill Solus, I'm assuming.
So she
that,
did it.
cave.
She did it, and she like there's like a moment between Undarna and Violet in the cave where she's like, or no, when she sees her for the first time, she's like, "Oh, you picked a scorpion tail," like all that stuff. Undarna says along the lines of, "She picked it because Violet almost died to poison, and Undarna never wanted that to happen again. She wanted to become the poison to protect Violet." That was like the whole like why she picked it was the whole reason
I
behind it.
completely missed that part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a real quick like snap of the finger interaction. And I actually, when I read, I missed it too, and then I saw a TikTok about it. It was like, oh shit, that makes so much sense.
What is Tyrion's tail?
That does make sense.
He
Morning
is-
Star
Oh, Morning Star.
Morningstar
Okay.
tail.
Because my
just
thought,
fucks everything up.
yeah, my
Yeah.
thought would have been like, this is a nod to later. My thought was they were gonna have the same tails because she's like wants to pretty much be him. Yeah, but we'll talk about that later.
I mean, do we
about-
want to
how
just
about
do full
Mira just-
Andarna right now?
Dude, how about Mira just fucking decking Brennan in the face, bro?
Oh yeah, when she
First
sees him.
interaction. Oh,
Dude,
I thought
that was
so Mira.
what a family reunion to like
Mhm.
start it off.
Mm-hmm. I
Literally.
thought it was great though.
It was great. And then like right after when they're talking, he's like she's like coming at him and he goes like, "You weren't killed," but she's
Mhm.
like, "Neither were you."
right.
But then later on we kind of get like, or at least it seems like Tiernan implies that Violet would die like Naolan did. So you'd think like Naolan died saving Brennan. But Nick, you
Yeah.
obviously know
Yeah, so
more
let's
than
talk
we
about,
do.
Let's talk about Brennan. So this is neither confirmed. It's not confirmed, but so you guys are like, oh, he's alive, he's alive, he's alive. So here's my counter argument to that. I don't think Brennan's alive. I truly don't. I think, and a lot of the people in the fan base think that Brennan is a Venom, and because not like a Venom in the sense that like he is a Venom, we think he's almost like, you know how you guys learn about runes
Mhm.
in the book? Brennan has runes on his hands. And the only reason to have runes on your hands is you're married. And so the theory is that Naolan was not Brennan's friend. They were married. The two of them were together. And that's why Naolan risked everything. So the theory is that Brennan is not alive. That Naolan turned Venom to save Brennan. But then in doing so, the only way he could save him is to bring him back as a Venom. So the whole theory is that Brennan himself does not know he's Venom, but he is Venom because there are different signs where like Sigil hates him. Why would he hate him after he saved Violet? He saved Xaden. Sigil can't go near him. And he says, she's never liked me. Like there's just random signs, and then there are things in Onyx Storm that also kind of confirm the theory that something is different about him. But to me, I think it would be a very interesting plot line this whole time if he is Venom and just nobody knows. I think that would be a really cool plot line.
Counter argument to that is he's mended many times. So if he's like among the wards, like mending people, I don't know. That's my thoughts
That's
are
a
like
good point.
I can't answer that, but you find out the answer to that in Onyx Storm. If I tell you that, I mean it's a small spoiler, but like
no, don't tell
yeah,
me.
I mean,
That's where my thoughts are
you
going
find
to.
out. Yeah, no, it's a good thought process, but you'll learn some things in Onyx Storm, and then I'm curious to see if you still have that same thought process.
Because the only person we know that is proven to have been a Venom is Jack Barlowe. And we like follow his plot line. We follow Nolan and his like, I had to save this guy. I still don't understand why we're spending so much time trying to save Jack Barlowe. What was the entire point to trying to save him at all?
Figure out how to cure him.
That's what I was gonna say because
It's not about the saving.
he
It's
was
about
the whole reason the serum was invented.
Yeah,
Like to
they're
keep
trying
him
figure
at
out a
bay,
way to cure
essentially.
Venom. Yes. That was the whole thing. They don't care about Jack Barlowe specifically. They care about what can we learn from the enemy. It's like in any war movie when like it's like an alien movie and they cut up the alien to see like what kills them. It's like the same thing. That's what they're doing to Jack Barlowe.
True, but I just Melgren doesn't strike me as the guy that's like I want to cure venom. He strikes me as the guy like I want to know how to like kill them for sure, or I want to know how to do it.
I don't think it doesn't. Come
I don't
from
think
him,
it was Melgren's call.
It was coming from Varys. I mean, because you'll
Yeah,
see
'cause
like
that's a
in the
school
start
thing.
of the next book, like Jack Barlowe is behind bars. Like he is
Yeah, we
not
know
to
that.
be. But that's what I'm saying though. Like he's not like there's no trying to get him better. Like in the next book, like he is vetted. Period. Like he's not getting. You know what I mean? Like he's not getting the doses. He's not getting anything like that. So
I
That's why
guess.
I think it was
it's
Varys.
Varys. Yes.
I thought it was less on Farish and Melgren. I thought it was just Nolan being like tied to like some like codex or well he applies to the Rider Codex because he's an applied to the Healer Codex. I was thinking maybe he was like subscribing to the Healer Codex and was like I must save anybody I can kind of like thing, and like Nolan was just showing like maybe a tinge of weakness or betrayal to the Rider Codex or whatever. That was the way I read into like why he was trying to save him, because I guess like there is some conversations between him and Varys to talk about it, but
Well, a lot of
but
people
what is
think
but then
that-
what is Varys' point to it? Like Varys, like I don't, because this is where I'm like Varys died
So
too
that's-
quickly,
no.
so I don't know.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So a lot of people, and again, this is not confirmed by the end of Onyx Storm, so I'm not even spoiling anything. But a lot of people that think that Varys is invented, and that was the whole reason, because there is a line. Is it Onyx Storm? Or it's Iron Flame? Whatever. Jack Barrow says a line where he's like, we're like we've already been like in the school, like we're everywhere, like they're already in the wards. And I think it's Iron Flame. He says it right before he's like kills Blade or whatever his dragon's name is, Bane or whatever it is. And he says that line, and so people, the theory is that Varys is invented and that Varys is actually not dead, because Violet did not kill him with like an alloyed hilted like the dagger, but people are thinking that Varys is a venom and he'll come back later in the books as like a bigger role. Some people think that he is the venom, like he is Braylon or whatever.
Oh, the sage, the general that they're talking about.
Like that he's like the big one. Because at the end of Onyx Storm, we still don't know who that is. The theory is it's either Varys or it's Naolan. We still don't know.
Yeah, I don't think.
But I like that though, because if he's the big bad, I don't want him right now, because then you'll see, like I think personally, I think Onyx Storm is the best book in the series. I don't even think it's close. Like I think Onyx Storm is by far the best book in the series, because they fix a lot of things that like people didn't like about Iron Flame, because people think that Iron Flame was an info dump. I'm not disagreeing with that. I liked it though, but it is an info dump, where Onyx Storm is more of like the fourth wing. It's a story. It's like a go, and it hits these plot lines and it's just like ticking off points. And then at the end of it, you're just like, whoa. Like
the only thing I have to say to the whole like Varys is a venom or whatever, because I'm not disproving that Varys isn't a venom, because like we see with Jack Barlowe, right? Jack Barlowe bonds with a weak dragon, right? Bade is talked about in the book being a weak dragon. Varys is, we see him numerous times where he has power over his own dragon, making me believe that Solus is a weak dragon. Nothing tells me that Marb is a weak dragon, even though we don't really know much about Brennan's dragon. I feel like in terms of like their connection, we don't, it doesn't seem like Marb is a weak dragon. So I don't know, like at least from my input, I would, if I was to follow your idea or the ideas of everyone that they're saying they're venom, I would have to pick out people that I think have weak dragons, because the only way I feel like you could be a venom and be bonded to a dragon would be you'd have to have a dragon where you command and they don't command you, because no shot in Imperium would be like, yeah, dude, let's have some venom riders.
Well, let me throw you a curveball. Every rider you just said has an orange dragon.
Marb is red.
No.
Right? No. Oh,
Orange.
no, I'm thinking... Hand up, I'm thinking of Koth or whatever Dane's is.
Nope. Kath, red too. Or orange too. So
that's the thing. I don't remember. I can't remember, to be honest with you.
People are like, well, Kath is orange. Like, yeah. Rebecca
So,
did say
so
Rebecca's a liar though, because like there are things that she has said, and then like Onyx Storm, like she's put in there, and then like, and then she laughed. She's like, "Yeah, I just didn't want you guys to know that soon, but you guys were right, and that's why I put in Onyx Storm." So like she has said that like, oh, like just because they're orange dragons doesn't mean that they're like Venom or bad people. But everybody's like, there's a track record. Like everybody we know who's Venom or like who is a bad guy has an orange dragon because they're the most.
I'm not
unpredictable.
I'm not disagreeing with anything
Well,
you just said, but I did just fact check it. Kath is red or Koth.
Oh, Cat is red. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
But what is question here? You remember that? Because remember we nodded to in Fourth Wing the two dragons that come and sniff.
Yeah, the green ones.
They're green. Okay, I
One
wanted
of
to see.
three
I wanted to see what color they were in the first place.
Green, yeah.
Yeah, but all right.
Because
So
they'd be in the same den with TN.
Well, I
or
was just,
Team.
honestly, I was just throwing it out there, Greg, because you're like, well, I don't see the commonality, and well, the commonality is they're orange dragons.
true, and they're unpredictable. Exactly.
I'm just trying to get your mind to like think a little bit more, like Again, I can't confirm it because I don't know the answer. This is just like my way of thinking,
I'm just trying to think. Does Tyrion ever like show disrespect to Marb? I can't remember. Marb or
I don't think so.
because
No,
I
I
feel
don't
like
think so.
I feel like the dragons that Tyrion hates are there's more to them than Tyrion's willing to suggest. Like he keeps like Solus, for instance,
Yeah.
he comes back and he's like, I should have killed that dragon on the spot when I had the chance.
Yeah.
I don't know
He
why.
goes, I should have he goes, next time I'm taking your other eye. Like, damn.
Yeah, but little do they know, and Darna took his neck. So
Uh-huh.
like,
I thought that scene was cool too. I think that's a major win for Andarna right there, dude. That like she's like,
Oh,
here
and
we
Darna
go.
the Slayer, dude.
The Slayer, dude. The Dragon Slayer.
dude, is her nickname Tiny?
No, that's just
Who
what,
the hell is Tiny? Because they keep like Tiny just
Well, it's
randomly.
her.
It is her. Okay.
It is her. Yeah. That's not her nickname though, but yes, that's how people say Tiny. Yeah.
Okay.
They're always like, oh, she's not tiny anymore. Yeah.
Well, no, though,
Yeah.
like someone like
Oh yeah, 'cause she
in-
grew like rapidly.
Mhm.
Oh, she did, and she doesn't have a back muscle. But I was just saying, like in the book, I remember numerous times where someone was like, "Oh, Tiny's doing something," or "Oh, Tiny just got this," or something like that. And I was like, "Is that a reference to Andarna?" Like, it's weird that we randomly just call her Tiny.
Oh,
Hey, hold
there's-
hold on.
there's
Are you
one
saying
scene
there's
where-
Tiny. There's also Teen.
No, I'm Tiny, Tiny, Tiny.
Okay, all right. Because I was
Yeah,
like, Teen
there's-
is Mira's dragon.
No, I trust me. I'm not talking about Mirror's Dragon. I'm talking
There's
about
one like they're on the flight field, and Riddick, like, and Darna's like running around like fucking up sheep or something, and Riddick's like, "Oh shit!" Like Tiny Tiernan's fucking like getting
Yeah.
aggressive or whatever, and she
Yeah.
almost just rips his fucking head off.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Is that where you?
And
said
he's like, "I meant to say big."
Is that what you said? If
No,
Riddick
that
dies,
was
I'll kill
when.
Nick?
No, that was when they're climbing the cliffs of Draylor, maybe, or something,
shot
and
with the
like
arrow.
Luella. Yeah. We'll
My
get
heart
to
Dude, that feels like a
to
different
keep it
book
to keep
almost.
it moving to get there.
Yeah,
Greg was
Greg, I
right
think
about
you
something
feel
else.
that way. I think you feel that way, Greg, just because like you guys read it so fast.
true.
Like, I mean, dude, like, because I think like you gotta think of it like this, Greg. Like, Will doesn't feel that way because Will was on pace, where it's like, again, like yesterday, you saw like 150 pages left.
Yeah,
And then like you didn't get to part one, like when we did the video, like, and I'm not dogging you. I'm just saying like that could be why you're
Dogged
like,
right
dude,
now.
like holy shit. That's why you could be like, holy shit, like I'm so glad, like I have a minute to breathe now. And you're like, well, this feels like a different book because it's like you read it so fast. It also does feel like a different book because it's too. I mean, so much happens. Like part one's crazy, and then that's why I said to you guys, like, if you think part one was a lot, like part two changes the whole series in general.
No, yeah,
Like,
it does.
I told you guys it did. Like I gave you the forewarning,
it's crazy. But whatever. Let's toss it back to Will. Will, where are we going?
Well, Greg was right about something else with Violet being able to throw lightning from her fingers, or
Yeah, I
like
wanted
just
to
shoot out lightning.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you that
Tiny,
so
but
bad.
you
But
can.
that was another one of those moments where I was like, I just can't tell you that. Like, you know what I mean?
He needs to get better at it.
But how? So that brings us back to the like where I told you guys, like, wait until you guys read this, and you're gonna be like, shit, I never thought about that. Like, I've loved when I forget his name, who he is in Arisha, with his like what the professor's name is, who's
Felix?
teaching her. Yes, Felix.
Felix, yeah.
But I love how she's he's like, they like, you don't know any control. And she's like, no, like I just have to stand on the rooftop and just see how many strikes I can do. And he's like, that's great, but you can't even do like a little like summon it in your hand. Like you only do big strikes. And he like dogs Carr for it. And he's like, of course, all Carr cares about is how many big strikes you could do to kill people. He's like, he doesn't care about the little thing.
Yeah, that just
So I thought that
confirmed
was
that Carr's a fucking bitch.
Exactly. But I thought that was so awesome when I was reading that, because it's like, but that's what I was trying to tell you guys. Like the powers level up throughout the book series, and it's not because they get like more powerful, it's because they actually learn how to use them, because they have a real teacher now, where like Cars is trying to teach them to do like these big major strikes for battle, where it's like, you know, like it's just, I thought that was really interesting, because I remember when I read that I was like, yo, I didn't even realize that she couldn't fucking just like be like lightning, like, you know what I mean? Like it didn't cross my mind.
But dude, I before we go ahead, I just have to go back like to the breaking of the nose of Brennan, right? Back to ice powers, wind, water powers being soft powers. Can we talk about Riddick? The only time we've seen him really use his ice powers yet is to make an ice pack. Weak. Pathetic. That is what we're gonna get.
That was what I was thinking when I read that. We do see him throw up a fucking ice wall towards the end, which that's cool.
That is sick.
That is cool, but Greg, I was thinking the same thing, because you've plagued my mind that these powers are weak. And so when Violet's literally like, I've never been happier that Riddick's an ice wielder, and it's just an ice pack Brennan doesn't even take for like 10 minutes during the conversation. She's like, it's starting to melt in my hand.
Couple like ice cubes.
See, but I think his power is cooler than like Ree's power. Like the whole like
stop it.
I don't think
that's
I agree,
crazy.
But Ree's power was great at the end. Like when they were like Ree's on dagger duty, I was like, why the fuck is she the one handing these out? And then I was like, oh, she can just fucking like
but that's
summon them.
Though. Like, dude, like, all right, so during a battle, like that's what she's good for. I mean, I know she's, you know, hand-to-hand combat, she's unreal. I get that. But like her power is just like, yeah, I can like just like summon daggers to me. Cool, bro. Fucking at least Riddick can like make ice spears and kill people. Like,
dude, this is where I feel
I don't disagree.
This is where I feel like my brain is like somewhat almost like too realist, and I feel like I have to step back and be like, it's a book, and I have to like step back, because I'm also thinking like Ree should be able to friggin' summon the staff from the sage. Just take a staff. Like why? Like what are we doing? Like we're just.
That's a good point. Like that's a good.
She should be almighty, just like sucking daggers out of people and just like absolutely dismantling like all these people. I mean, there's other things like Riddick should be like doing something. I don't know, fill up, you know, because remember the wyvern that's like eating his dragon essentially at the very end? Yeah. Dude, he's like stabbing it. Dude, take your ice, shove it into the nose of the dragon, and just like send it home. Do something. We're over here using swords. They were
literally like, Violet said he just like kept stabbing the wyvern like in the nose like over and over. I was like, let's try something else. Like that's not working. Let's try a new move.
Onyx Storm, because that's when you guys are saying their powers level up, because they're older, they're more mature, they know how to use them, and it makes more sense. Like think about it, you're like, these are rookies. Like they don't, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't
I get that, like
more than a year. So it's like, you know what I mean? But like what you're saying, Greg, like, yes, it happens in Onyx Storm. And like, that's what I'm saying. Like Riddick and Onyx Storm, like you'll realize he's the best character in the whole book. Like he's top tier. He's strong. Like that's when I think you'll change your mind and be like, ice power is not a bitch power. And if you don't, you're just completely wrong.
No, dude, he is like a snow cone machine right now. He like literally, like it honestly offends me when I read about him using his power. Even him throwing up like an ice wall, like,
was sick.
I mean, it's sure, don't get me wrong, it melts. It's like, honestly, it's like you stop one fire blast. Come on, like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? We're putting up little ice sheets, little sheets of ice, little plywood ice up there. We can't even put like a tundra down or something like that. What are our powers? I mean, Violet's killed herself every time she strikes the ground. We got fucking ice cube guy over here. He can't do anything. I mean, it kills me. It kills me because I like Riddick. But his power is almost comedy relief. Honestly, to me, when he has to use it, it's comedic relief to me. But
I feel that way about Sawyer too. Like his power, like the whole metal bending thing, like it's cool, but like
He's
during a
fucking
battle,
Magneto.
it does nothing. Not really, dude.
He's
He can't
not like
bend
Magneto at
fucking,
all.
like armor. It's not like that at all, my guy. He's not doing
That's
that in
what
the middle of
isn't
battle.
Magneto's fucking like actual power, like
no,
metal bending.
His is like sucking
it's
metal together, like, and he can like
Yeah,
manipulate
he's like a
metal.
magnet. Where like Sawyer just
Oh, okay.
manipulates it.
Okay.
He just
Yeah.
bends it. Like cool, bro. Like
I know he'd be great.
Well,
Like,
I'm not saying
orthodontist.
his is
Metal
great
armor.
He
because
can make some great
he
braces.
fucking doesn't. He's missing a leg. Maybe
He's
if he had a
missing a leg.
cooler signet, he'd be fine.
he's messing a leg.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
maybe if he had the binoculars, he would have seen it coming. I don't know.
Binoculars. But dude, not gonna lie, that makes me go to a point, right? He loses the leg. I'm thinking with his metalworking dude, he's gonna have a sick leg. If he doesn't have a sick leg that he replaces that with some cool metal stuff, we're talking.
He is gonna have a fucking badass
if he doesn't have
prosthesis.
if it's not badass, we're tossing metal bending into the bitch category of powers. It's getting roped in with ice if it's not
He
cool.
doesn't have a cool prosthetic.
I will say
Exactly.
they definitely
Exactly.
they definitely show Riddick's more though. Like I don't think Sawyer had any signet like scenes in this
Yeah.
book.
No.
He burns he warps the metal of the door to get the first door out of the dungeon.
That's true.
True.
In part one.
Part one, yeah, that's part one. Part one will knock.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Like I don't know how it took that long to figure that out.
Here's
But-
the thing. Riddick,
Or I guess they waited.
Riddick has a special place in my heart because you will learn that Riddick is the only character that truly puts Violet first every single time. That's like your little sprinkle of breadcrumbs, a little teaser that you will learn in Onyx Storm that he's the only character that continues to put Violet first. None of them else do. He does. So he's got like a special place in my heart.
True. I hope you're not trying to reference that there's some kind of weird love between them, because there is
No,
section that they talk about in the book where
He said
Riddick
he would do
goes,
it.
would I
He
like
does say he
would
would
I
do it.
That's
ask
like
you
Liam
out or
has a
something?
similar thing in Fourth Wing.
So
He said he would do it.
There could be a nod to this. I already have. I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I'm already prescribing a.
Greg's like boiling at the seam, just want to drop his hot
Dude,
takes,
I want to drop this take because I really don't think Zayden and Vi have the juice to go the distance. I really don't. And I think
All right,
I
so-
think these
'cause
little
I know what
library
you're talking
sessions
about.
are going to kick
We'll
in
keep it
hot later on.
Rebecca has confirmed they are endgame.
Yes, I think you said that.
Listen,
last
you
time.
I
said
mean,
you
how
said
it
she confirmed other things in the book,
You're
and they
right.
were wrong. So Rebecca,
You're right.
make it
You're right.
happen. Put you know who back in the saddle. He's
There's
ready.
people that want
Put him
her
back
and
in,
Jack Barlow to
coach.
get together.
No, that's a crazy take.
Dude.
Oh fuck that!
Those
Those
are-
people need to stop reading the book. They're not allowed to read book four.
We need to get the psych wards back up for
You
those
guys
people.
are
That's
done.
a crazy
You guys are
take.
done.
Get him out of
Join
here.
the fucking peasant book club.
Yeah.
That's for
Get out
that.
of here. If you're doing that take, get out of here. That's a crazy take.
That's a book club.
Even though I was a Jack Barlow fan for a split second when I thought he had a coming to Christ moment, but little did I know he was playing the politics.
But I'm not, dude. I'm not gonna lie. When he slices his dragon's throat, bro, badass, dude.
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just saying,
There's a piece of
He's a
me.
fucking cocksucker though.
major cocksucker. Great.
Like,
is true.
That's criminal, dude.
Dude, you want to
Easy,
hear a
dude.
crazy take of me supporting Jack Barlow and that he did no wrong?
God.
Here we go. I'm thinking because
Did no wrong.
because
What?
well, this is pre post becoming a Venom. Post becoming a Venom. So after Nolan saves his life, well, kind of does whatever he does. Frankenstein's them back together. My take is on this is that because we see Jack Barlow come back, have a coming to Christ moment, saves her. So I have two theories on this why he saves her from the turret. Was either A, he knows that the Venom need her and that he's not allowed to kill her. That's my first take. And then my second
I
take,
agree with that one.
my second take is that he actually did have a coming to Christ moment, but the venom inside him, or now that he is a venom, he can no longer like there's only a certain amount of restraint that he can have before he becomes overpowered by it. And because we leave Basgaiath, we have no idea what he was looking like after that. So he could have been severely like kind of like demented by the whole venom inside of him, which then led him to drive him into this madness where he is now. Because we have that scene in the bar cell, right? Not to get too far ahead. That's literally the last page of the book, but he's talking to Xaden about being venom, and he says, "You pretty much don't have control. It will take over you." So that's why I'm like, there is two theories on that subject, where I think there is a possibility he did become a good person. And
That's a great, interesting theory. That's wrong.
I just want to chuck that out there. There's
I agree with what you said at first, that it's probably because he's a venom. All the what is it, ASMA, whatever the fuck like.
I'm an S-ney.
Puny, yeah, whatever the like cadet ranking is for the venom. Like even they know, like, oh, you're the lightning wielder. We need to bring you to. Mm-hmm. Which we find out is the general.
Yeah, they
kind of
confirm that, like, yeah, they kind of confirm that he saves her because the venom need her. But so
hold on. Great part in the book was when she's staring down the lovely cadet venom, and the venom's like, "If I bring you in, I will be the ass-knee that brought you in." I thought that was so funny to like call yourself an ass.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
That part was so funny. I'll give you another interesting theory here that the fandom might think is real. They think that the sage is actually Papa Soringale. They think it's the dad.
I will be upset if that is the truth.
Because
I could see it happening.
Fun things.
I'm going back in one star in every book if that's the end.
Yeah, there's some there's some fun theories there. But I will say, what I thought you were gonna say, Greg, but I'm glad you didn't, because I was gonna tell you a line from Onyx Storm then, because it's just a great line. I thought you were gonna say something about like, I think like about like Jack Barlow's like the good guy, like kind of thing, because I truly believe, I'd already made this hot take before, that I think the venom are actually good. There's some couple lines in Onyx Storm to back that theory. I don't want to say them. We'll save them. But there's cool lines that. What? Are
you trying to say the Imperium is bad?
I think the Imperium is bad, and I'm going to tell you the line because it's not a spoiler, but there's a line where JB is talking to Violet.
JB's comeback tour.
He says to her, "You keep thinking I'm the enemy, but you bonded two of them." And who are the two of them? It's the Imperium dragons. And basically, he goes on after that and says, "You bonded two of them. The two of them, all they do is keep the power to themselves. They don't want anybody else to have power. They're gatekeepers." Which, if like we look at other books or other mediums and like movies and stuff like that, when people are gatekeepers, usually they're gatekeepers because they don't want anybody else to have what they have, which would mean that they are the bad guys. Well, so it's a fun, interesting theory, because I actually think that maybe the Imperium is bad because Tiernan, and I love Tiernan with all my heart, he has lied to Violet multiple times. I'm just saying. Let's
also just bring up, in this circle of us trio here, who the gatekeeper of knowledge is. Nicholas is the gatekeeper of knowledge. So if we're going on his own thing here, maybe he's the bad one in the group, because he is withholding information from Onyx Storm from us. So I won't be gaslit. I won't be gaslit into thinking the dragons are bad at this point in the series. That's an absurd take. Put that away in the Disney vault. Lock it up.
In response to that, like, I get what the theory's founded on.
Like, I think the dragons,
the venoms,
are bad. Like Tiernan and them, like that. The dragons that came, I think, are the good dragons. But I think the ones that stayed behind to protect the nest, fuck you. I think they're bad. That's my take.
They could be. I'm not gonna try and disprove it, because I obviously don't know Onyx Storm yet. But the Venon's like whole thing, and they like focus on it a lot in the last few chapters, like especially with the pre-chapter blurbs, like that. It's like magic is supposed to have like a control or like a balance, like one thing like offsets another or whatever. But the Venom is
Funny you
like,
should say that.
fuck all that. Let's get all this in. So I don't think the dragons
Let's
are
get
bad
this
for
bread.
not fucking
Remember that when you read Onyx Storm.
disproving the balance of the magic.
Yeah, remember
Like
that when you
they're
read Onyx Storm,
like
the balance.
the balance. Well, that's the whole Venom thing.
Uh-huh.
Is like we're just like they say, fuck the balance. We should get it all. They're just the Sith in Star Wars.
I mean, weren't the Sith technically the good guys? Because the Jedi were clouded by their own darkness. I'm just saying.
All right, if we're gonna get on this take, might as well get into it, dude. The dragons can't even use the power. They're just they're like if we're really talking about it, the dragons need the humans to use the power.
No, they
They
don't.
can't even use it. Do you see Tyrion out here?
The dragons
like,
channel into them. But
they're not shooting
who can kill a
lightning.
dragon? Who can kill a dragon?
That's
Another
not
dragon can.
Tyrion's dragon isn't lightning. Like that's not his magic. He just has an abundance of
I know.
magic in general, and Violet channels that magic into lightning.
Exactly.
Fun fact, actually, Violet is not a lightning wielder. Only Tiernan calls her a lightning wielder. Everybody else says that she produces pure power. So it's funny. So another theory is that she just chooses lightning to be the form of power that she possesses. But the theory is that later on in other books, it doesn't happen in Onyx Storm. And this is something that people put together in Iron Flame. The theory is in later books that she'll be able to just shoot like raw power instead of just being lightning all the time. Fun little tidbit for you.
I could see that, but Zayden does call her a lightning wielder when
Zayden's a bitch.
it like first happens.
You heard it here, folks.
Zayden is
It
a bit, and of moving along with the flow of the book, how we were talking last week about how Zayden just shows up in scenes. Of course, he was at fucking Calder when they get there, and that like throws like the first curve of part 2. I feel like is like when it's like known that Kat is the betrothed to him, and then that she has to fight the fucking Venom to get the Luminary, and then Mira learns how to fucking shield without the wards. That whole stretch is fucking awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. Agreed. Love that part.
And also the castle not being guarded. There's certain little tidbits where I'm like the Promish people or whatever. There's still something up. There's something up with that because you have you're not covered by the wards, and you have no defensive castles. You have this like beautiful castle, and for some reason you're kind of untouched.
They claim because the Venom can't get there because it's surrounded by like water and stuff. Which like is also not true. The Venom can get.
They can fly. Yeah, there's a piece of me. Yeah. There's a piece of me that I think that there's a little insider trading secret knowledge over there that because they should have been steamrolled. Like the fact that Basgiath like a ward goes down and like we get completely pooped on. What is going on, Gaiath? We're getting Best Gaiath is getting beshafted by the friggin' Venom. There's like 800, there's 500 Venom over there that just are absolutely dumpstering us on the front here. Why are they not dumpstering the Griffies?
You know why?
Because the Griffies are weak, pathetic losers.
No.
And they have nothing to offer.
Venom want the Imperium.
They want the little nest eggs.
They're going after.
Yeah, they want all their magic
and Primordial. So,
dude, why are the Griffins even in the book? Like, where are the Griffins getting hatched out of? Are they just like little deers? Like, might as well just eat them and just get rid of them. Why even save them?
It's a lion.
No, I know. I'm saying I'm not trying to hate on the Griffins.
Dies, bro, so sad, dude. Same thing.
Oh my god, dude.
All heartbreaking, right, dude?
That's where we're at this point now, and the whole mountain scene was crazy.
The audiobook, like when it's dramatic, like the dramatic version of it, you shed a tear, dude, because you hear all the Griffins like do the eagle cry. Oh, it's so heartbreaking, dude.
Can you give us your best eagle cry, Nick?
That's not bad.
That's actually that's not bad at all. That's pretty great.
But that, like, we read that Riddick almost dies. That's
Yeah.
terrible.
But
Wait,
then
hold on.
after that, it's literally just like 6 straight chapters of Cat just being a fucking bitch.
Yeah, but before we start shitting on Cat, there is one thing I want to talk about because I was so confused when it was happening. Where the hell did the crossbows, the bows come out of that are sticking out of Riddick's side?
traps.
They were traps.
They're traps.
They don't-
Maurice
yeah,
set
it
up
was like-
traps so
It
the
was one of the
Griffins couldn't
Griffin
come.
traps.
They're Griffin traps. Yeah.
Because
So that's
remember
why I
I
when
thought
they
had
got
already
there,
he'd already crossed it
yeah,
though.
Dane's waiting out.
No. So what
No.
happened is, it was
he
Dane and
did.
someone else. I forget who it was. They went to go like do all the traps. That was the one trap they could not disarm. So yes, Riddick does cross it, and they all cross it. But when that one girl jumps, she trips, she triggers the trap. Then she falls off the cliff, and then Violet reaches for her. Then Riddick reaches for her. Obviously, the girl falls to her death. Riddick pulls up Violet, but as doing so, the trap gets sprung, and Riddick gets shot.
They also bring up Vizia, a character that the Visa credit card
She
gets pulled back up.
She ends up dying in the cave with Solus, right?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she gets
'cause
chucked against the wall.
Because she
Yes.
was the one the whole time was like, "We're not losing this fucking weekend pass. I need that."
Yes.
Yeah,
did
you
not
lost
get
it, that's for sure. Soul's coming out
Yeah,
of
lost that
nowhere
one.
was weird. Like I understand the whole we're bringing back
Well,
the
it's a
whole
dragon's
Varys, but like, is that Solus' Dragon's Den? Like he's just out there.
Oh, it's just there's somewhere the dragons could
Well,
just go.
I think it's at the end of part 1 or the beginning of part 2 where Tiernan's like, "I chased Solus like into the caves, but then like lost him in like a network or something."
But shouldn't Tyrion have like felt? Shouldn't Tyrion have felt that dragon, or Inderna like have felt the dragon? Because I remember an explicit scene like when they go to meet Melgrave, and they're like, "Aren't we worried that the dragons are going to be able to like feel us here?" And then they're like, "Well, no." Well, they're gonna feel us, but there's gonna be so many of us that like they won't be able to tell how many are there. But like, I feel like if you're in a cave, how is Inderna not sensing souls around the corner?
Well, she says it smells like dragon.
Yes, but I don't think they don't think anything of it because it's a dragon's like cave.
Yeah, I guess.
kind of
Yeah, they
thing,
just
but-
like start Violet just like her thought process
Yeah.
like starts fucking like, all right, let's move a little faster and we got to get out of here
Yes,
quick.
Yeah.
And then like
One
right
thing
when
that-
they close the box and like get ready to go, that's when he pops out.
So
One
he
thing I
pops out of
love
the
that we
box.
didn't talk about is I love when they go to Super Bowl or whatever it's called for the first time, and then obviously like her and Zayden are fighting and blah blah blah. But I will say, because Greg's calling Zayden all soft, and I think there are certain points where I'm like, he's kind of a bitch now, but like I still love him. But when he's like in the meeting and like the vice commodore, whatever the guy's name is, like excuse me, like we're waiting on you, and he's like, I don't apologize, and like I would do it again. I'm like,
Yeah, I make no apologies.
I make no apologies. It's like that's a great line. Like that was cold.
That's like when you guys are
Not gonna
calling him
lie.
like, or more so Greg calling him like a soft bitch. He's 100% a soft bitch with Violet,
Yes,
but everyone else, he just fucking like,
and she
especially
says
when
that.
Violet's around. Like when
Yes.
Violet's around and we see Zayden dealing with people that like of high rank, they're meaningless. It's
Mhm.
almost like just to impress Violet. Like,
Yes.
yeah, these people
And
mean
she
nothing.
says,
But I care
I'm
about
the
you.
only person that get to see him soft like this. Like she
Yeah.
says that. Like she's the only person that gets to see the true him.
So we're
Although
saying
it does seem like the one person that he kind of not like, I guess like listens to more so is the Ulysses guy, who I'm still not super sure who that is. It seems
Yeah.
like they thought he died too with Brennan,
he becomes our president
but
later on.
he's like the one that's like talking for the
Yeah.
revolution
Chandler.
at the meeting with Melgren.
Garrick too. He does. Like Garrick knows him, like how soft he is too at certain points, and that's why Garrick gives him all this shit.
Yeah,
That's true. I do love like whenever like in all the books or any, whenever like Violet and Xaden like meet up after like an extended break, and Garrick's like right behind, and he'll like
Yes.
make some smart quip and Xaden will be
Yes.
like, oh, "Thanks for that."
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love when the one part when Bodhi's like, "Are you just gonna forgive him now, dude?" And she's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay." Like,
Dude, that like I feel like at the all of part 1 and especially the end was setting up Bodhi to be like a
do people still
more
want that?
primary character.
Yeah.
And
People
then
think that
I
Bodhi's in
don't
love
think
with
he's
Violet.
mentioned in part 2.
Not really. No.
Like
No.
he's nowhere to be found.
No.
And he's not using
No,
his
people
cool ass
think
power.
that- yeah. People think that Bodhi's in love with Violet.
What if
I
Bodhi
could see that.
is, because you know how you can like turn people's signets off. What if he is turning off Violet's secondary signet?
I think that's so funny you said that, but you didn't say another one. Like that's funny that your mind went there, but it didn't go to.
Oh,
what if
Xaden's.
Imogen's- No,
Oh.
what if Imogen's wiping Violet's memories?
But she
That's
can
what I'm
only
saying.
wipe short term. I'm trying to think of
No.
when. Yes.
No, she can. No,
Unless she got more powerful, because I'm pretty sure they
She-
reference she can only do
'cause
short term memory.
I believe before they go to steal the book, it's mentioned like that she can't wipe too long of like memories, like too far long. But
well, I know it's hours.
as we talked
That I
about,
do
like
know.
it gets powered up.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure it fucking gets crazy strong. Like
But
eventually.
yeah, no, I was just. That was funny that you said like, what if he's turning down her second signet?
Dude, what if Dane is
I
the
don't think we
man this
know it
whole
yet.
entire fucking time, dude? Because you're putting shit in my head that's really opening my third eye. What if Dane reached into her brain, saw memory, right? Dane saw it, and then Imogen wiped her brain of that. So he knows something that like she doesn't even remember anymore. But she still remembers him like wiping her, like touching her, and like, oh, you're reading my mind, and she thinks you're reading something else, but really he's reading something else. Dude, what if dude, we're going back to, I need to re-pull up that video. I gotta post that TikTok. Who do you support? These dirtiest traitors, or are you for Navarre? I'm starting to, dude, it's starting to all come together, because I have come full circle on Dane. He's the man. He deserves Violet. Xaden is a problem. This is where my hot takes are. Xaden's weak, pathetic loser. And honestly, he's now a Venom. He's now JB. He's going to join JB for the comeback tour. But I really think at the end of the day, Dane is the guy who did everything right. He didn't make a single mistake. He played this game flawlessly.
He killed Liam.
Listen, I may be a team Liam guy. I might be Liam's biggest fanboy. But what if it comes out that Liam was just
You're not. If
another
you're supporting Dane. I can tell you right now.
dirty traitor and was actually bad? Because I still try to think back to it. Why the hell would Lilith actually not team up? Why would she do Rorison this bad? Why would she be anti whatever, execute everybody, do all that stuff, but still be like kind of like I'm team, just like whatever? She's just team her kids, obviously, but I think she's also team like I want to save the Imperium or whatever. I think that's kind of like that's where my idea goes. But like I think she has to know more about like the greater impact of like these traitors and why she went along with it, because that doesn't seem on brand for her to be like, at least from what we know now, willing to kill herself, even if it is for her daughter. I don't know. There's some pieces to me where I'm thinking I'm going out on a limb here and saying Dane is like the solution, the man, the myth. He's going to solve everything, and he's going to be the best character in the book. And Xaden will have the craziest fall from grace. He's already tumbling. He's already flying off the hill of grace. And I think all the traitors are bad. Dude, watch it. Varsh be like a good guy. Come out of nowhere. Varsh was the good guy at the end. This could get crazy here, folks. But that's where I stand right now. I'm going flip 180. Fuck the traitors. We're here for Navarre. There's a reason. This is how it is. That's how. There's a reason
I just love
why.
how, like, I make a comment that, like, I think the Venom are good, the Dragons are bad. He tells me I'm fucking crazy. There's no way. Then he just calls out every main character in the book, and he's like, they're all fucking bad.
Dude,
Yeah, like I don't even know how to acknowledge.
dude, there's
that.
a reason
No
why
comment.
Atreus
He's like,
Ward.
"He's the man."
There's a reason
Okay.
why Atreus Ward was not on. So remember that Arisha.
Yeah,
Just
there
remember
is a
that
reason because
six
Andarna wasn't one of the
hundred-
ones.
But
Yeah,
they didn't have the sixth breed.
I understand seventh breed.
seven.
Or the seventh breed, sorry.
But there's a reason why she stayed unhatched for 650 bajillion years or
For
whatever.
Violet.
Waiting for Violet.
That's what we're told.
That's the truth.
That's what we're told. We don't know that.
I do. That's the truth.
I'm just saying
That
you could be told
There's
things
nothing to say that's not the
that
truth.
you don't know. But I'm just saying I don't know. There's like that ward had to have been on at some point. Why do we have 2 wards if we know we need 7th breeds? I don't understand that. Why are we like there had to be like a generational killing of the 7th breeds. Someone had to be like, we don't need this ward. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm leaning
we don't
on
know
why the
anything
ward's
about
off.
I
Seventh
can't
breed,
tell
we're
you
gonna
that. I can't
figure
tell
it
you
out.
that. You will learn about the 7th dragon in Onyx Storm. I can't tell you that. I will say that I don't like them. That's all I will say.
I'm just pointing out the obvious. That ward's off, and it's not like it was never on.
I don't think it was ever gone.
That's
just
not
saying.
true. I don't think it was ever on.
Why do you
Because
build?
it had no magic in it.
Why
It
do you
wasn't
build
imbued.
2 wards if you
Also,
know you can't
technically
imbue the
speaking, it is
second
on
one?
right now.
Well, not
But
fully.
technically-
Yeah,
is
I was going to say that too.
Not fully. It's like
Because what happened
No, but
is
it can
crippled.
still kill Wyvern.
when they figured it out, like the formula, they were in Orisha, but then they learned that they could save. This is my opinion, is that they were like, okay, we can save more people if we go back to Navarre because the wards are bigger at Navarre.
no, I
And they go, so they leave that ward stone, and that's why they don't leave the information. They take the information so no one else would know how to do it.
yeah, I'm not arguing about why they did or whatever. I'm just saying there's a reason why Arisha's wardstone 600 plus years ago was off. Like, you know what I mean? There's got to be more to the story of why we're wiping the archives of all this. Got to be more to the story.
Well,
No one's
I
just
think
going
that
like,
starts-
we're just gonna fucking throw it under and be like, there's more to
The theory
this.
could be is that there's venom in the scribe and that's where all the information's. It's just leaving because of the venom.
well, that is a solid
I
theory.
don't
That
know the
could
truth.
very
I really
well
don't know
be
the
true.
truth. That's just my theory.
I
don't know
was
the
just
truth.
gonna say because we learned from Jasenia when she's talking with Violet about the different translation from Lyra's journal. I'm still not sure which one was the liar and which one wasn't between Lyra and Warwick, but one of them like found out how to do it
I
essentially,
didn't tell the others.
and yeah, and was like,
Yeah.
we can't, like, this needs to stay hidden. This is between us. And the other one was like, no, we need to fucking protect everyone.
yeah,
So I almost think whoever the one wasn't,
I think it's
whoever
Lyra is
the
the one who
one-
wanted to protect everybody, and Warwick was like,
I
no.
I agree, but I wasn't 100%
I
sure.
think if I remember
think
correctly.
So like
Because
based
they
off
get-
that,
They get Warwick's, right?
Mhm.
And then Lilith gives them
Warwick's
Lyra's.
is the first, yeah, because
yeah,
the one that
Warwick is
Violet
Lyra.
had.
Yes, Warwick is the
Violet
one that wanted
had
to keep it
Lyra's.
to only Navarre, where Laura, like whatever her name was, that Lilith gave them. That's how they figured it out.
Oh yeah,
Because
because
he wanted
Jasenia's
to-
like, because Jasenia says I think Lyra was the liar because she says like the 7th dragon, like that
Mhm.
there's 7, and then Violet's like that's when she pieces it together that Andarna isn't a black dragon,
Yes,
or at least
Hmm.
like just not.
They
Yeah,
didn't
not
know
a black
7th
dragon.
breed. They didn't know about the 7th breed. So that's why
Yeah.
Jasenia, because I was thinking, because like Jasenia definitely said Lyra was a liar, but she doesn't know that there's a 7th breed. So that's why she thinks she's lying.
So she just thought that she was the yeah. So I
Yeah.
almost think that Lyra like had that wardstone built so like more places could be protected, and before they either didn't have the 7th dragon or like they were shut down before they could get the wards up or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. That one's interesting. You don't really learn about that one, but I don't know.
I need to know more. I need to know more about these ward stones, why they were placed in certain locations. I don't know. I mean, we'll probably find out, but
Well,
We will
because
find out.
they say like the
You don't
max
find out in
distance
Onyx
is like a
Storm, though.
4-hour flight.
Yeah, Onyx Storm is more of like, I mean, it's not a spoiler. It's on the back of the book. But because it's Violet's point of view, there's only obviously one thing that Violet cares about right now, and that's curing Xaden. So Onyx Storm is like a massive journey of like how to like try to find cures for Xaden. But they also find like it's how to find cures for Xaden, and it's also how to find the Erads, which is the seventh breed. So it's like
dude,
really
we're just dropping lore that we don't even know about here. I didn't know they were called Erads.
Oh. All right, that's not that.
Yeah, that.
spoiler. Fuck off.
And also,
Well, maybe I imagined that was a different name.
Yeah, and I also want to point out.
Let's be real. All of them are colors, and then just the special ones, Erad.
Exactly.
Like all of them are fucking colors.
I was hoping they were just going to call them chameleons.
Just make that one's camo.
The Skittles.
The Erads come from the word iridescent.
Yeah, we're just dropping lore at this point. Now we're just getting crazy now. The slip of the tongue. I was about to mention that is a sick shirt.
Yourself.
It's my
Nick, do you want to tell the people where you can find that?
You can DM me at Wolfpack_Studio24 on Instagram, and I'll get you one of my photography t-shirts. That's where you can find it if you really want it. No, dude, I'm sorry. I thought you knew they were called that, but hold on. So then I know we're about to jump around, but I just like this has been egging at me for so long, and I feel like I have to talk about it. Greg, I know you said at the end of Fourth Wing, you're like, if fucking Undorna's black, I'm gonna be so pissed. And then in the first video, you bring it up again. It's stupid. I don't like it. Okay, when you learn why she's portrays herself as black, you cannot lie and tell me that like it is not so heartfelt and so nice, because she could have chose blue, and she even says, as awesome as Sigil is and as badass as Sigil is, Tiernan is afraid of nothing. And I just think that was so awesome. And she's like, I just want to be him. Because Tiernan is everything that Violet needs, and Undorna doesn't want to feel like she's less than.
No,
I thought that was really heartfelt.
Trust me, I'm not upset. Now that I know that she's not a black dragon, she's just this Erad. I'm she's like, this is sick. Like, she can just be whatever she wants, whatever she wants to be, which is cool. Just because I was like, dude, we're getting too many black dragons. Like, it's not feeling special enough. We have Koda, who's also a badass. We kind of learn a little bit more about him, which is kind of cool. Yeah. We also find out Nick, he is that guy. Koda is the biggest dragon in the continent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I know that you respect Tiernan and his ability, but
yeah, I'm listening.
Koda, like they even say it that the only people that aren't scared of Tiernan are Sigil and Koda.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hello.
Ollie.
Say hi. Dear. Say
hi. Ollie.
Say hi. Freaking out. He's like going nuts. So I apologize. He's just going nuts.
It's probably something outside.
He knows that Koda would beat up Tiernan.
So I know that's true, but like I knew it was true, but my only counter argument is there is a scene where the scene where Violet talks to Koda. Mm-hmm. Right?
Badass as fuck.
Badass.
Awesome.
The description of Koda is also badass. Battle-hardened motherfucker.
Yes. But what I like about that is Tiernan doesn't back down. He steps forward where Koda steps back. And that, in my opinion, is why I think Tiernan is the most badass dragon, like the best of the best. Because he made Koda take a step back when Violet approached. And
well, Tiernan wasn't even there.
That's just my argument.
Yeah, was he there?
Yes, he is.
I don't think Tiernan's on the ground. Yeah, but when she like first goes to talk to Koda, I don't think Tiernan is there. Because like she's saying like he's saying telepathically like, what are you doing? Like this. So then
maybe he says something to him, because I know it is written that it says that Coda takes a step back.
I don't disagree with that.
So
I could be
details that I
wrong.
thought maybe Tiernan did it, but it could also just be that he was so blown away that Violet approached him that he was like, "What the fuck is this girl doing?" Like, you know what I mean?
Like, why is Tiernan's rider coming at me?
Yeah, but I thought that was
And
really
like he's
awesome.
like,
She's like,
I don't want
like
to
this
fuck
one,
with
are you gonna
her
come?
because like Tiernan
Yeah.
would fuck me up.
Yeah, I
But
thought that
I
was
think
really
he
cool.
does get there at the end, so maybe he backs up when he lands or something
That's
like
what
that.
I thought there
But I'm
was
pretty
something
sure
there.
that he's not there right
I
away.
know technically Melgrim, or not Melgrim, that Coda is the best dragon, like the most like the hardest, the strongest dragon. But I just felt like in that moment, I remember when I read it and I was like, oh, like if Coda's backing down from Tiernan, or even from like Tiernan's rider, like wouldn't that make Tiernan like the you know what I mean? Like that's what I was coming from.
I
was
honestly
like that,
think
you know?
Tiernan, because if we go back to what Brennan said like a while ago in like the first assembly meeting,
Mhm.
we hear like the bond between Tiernan and Ryder grows stronger with each one. Like the Naolan one almost killed them. Like Tiernan's also growing stronger like every second that Violet grows stronger. And like I bet that their
Like, if you
connections.
fall, you're my last. I'll fall with you. I think that's so awesome.
Oh, dude, I
a great
didn't
line.
cry at all like towards the end, but the last like 75 pages, there were a lot of tear jerking moments. Like I was like, if Rebecca takes this a certain way, fucking waterfalls.
There was a couple things, where like, I remember when I first read it, I was like, is Violet gonna die? I was like, who's still
Dude, it
3 more
was
books?
crazy. Yeah. And then like, is Violet gonna die from like imbuing this, and then Zane's just gonna fall?
I do have to say, Rebecca's got to calm down a little bit. The plot armor kind of coming out. Sawyer, Riddick, we're getting a little plot armor on these characters, which I don't know if I like or dislike. They seem a little untouchable. The Fantastic Four that we have here, or I guess maybe we can include a couple other characters, but I'm
One
saying
of
the
them
main
will
characters.
die.
Listen. She said people die in Onyx Storm. Okay. But she also said in an interview, she has made it very clear that in book 4, one of our favorite characters will die. Now, I'm not going to say who because then you guys be like, oh, they all live throughout Onyx Storm. But she makes it very clear that a very popular character will die by the end of book 4. And people were very upset. And she said to us, she said, listen, it is a book about a war. She was like, a lot of people die in war because her husband's a veteran. So that's kind of like where it's all coming from. She's like, a lot of people die in war. She's like, I've been to plenty of like my husband's friends' funerals that have passed away in war. She was like, a lot of your favorite characters will not make it to the end. Just prepare now. And I honestly think like I really thought Sawyer was going to die, and I think he's a good death. You know, there's a couple other ones that I think are really good deaths too. The problem is like I just don't want to theorize with you guys because then if you're gonna take it the wrong way and be like, oh, they won't die in Onyx Storm because he wouldn't say it, but that's not true. Like, you know, but I think there are characters. But my other argument is I don't think she killed off one of the big characters in Iron Flame because she kills Liam at the end of Fourth Wing.
Yeah, no.
And I think just kills she kills a lot of people, but she kills like the smaller.
She kills characters that like came in on this book and then left at the same time, like the Visa character.
That was all leading up to like Lilith being the main death. Like it almost feels like each book's gonna have like one main death at the end. Like at least,
I mean, like
there could be more.
You're not wrong, but like I also just wish like I don't know, like Lilith's death didn't really hit for me as well as like I think like I wanted it to. Like I thought like it was emotional because like you know at the end Violet, Brennan, and Mira are all emotional about it, and they're like, "No, Mom, please don't." You know, like that's really emotional, but like because like you're just like the whole time you're like, I fucking hate this character. Like didn't really care that she died. I will say it is emotional when like she says like, you know, everything I did, like I did it for like my kids. And then I think there's a really like cool line, and I thought it was an Onyx Storm, but it's not. It's an Iron Flame where she tells Violet like the reason why I pushed you into the Rider's Quadrant was not because I don't love you. It's because I loved you. I pushed you into it because I knew you were too smart for your own good, because she's like, I knew you were going to figure out about the venom sooner rather than later. And she was like, the problem is if you went and became a scribe, she's like, they would have had you killed. Whereas a rider, if you could prove yourself and you learned how to train, you can protect yourself. And I thought
True.
like that to me is what changed her whole character. That I was like, wait a minute, like she really is doing everything she possibly can to protect her kids, to the point where like she's like, even if she has to be the villain, she'll be the villain. Like, you know what I mean? I thought that's the only thing that made me emotional about her death. But other than that, I'm like, whatever, dude. Like,
Dude, that
I'm more upset
no,
that we
like-
get to see her storm powers more. Like, you
Oh,
know, that's
yeah.
a best
Yeah.
thing, like, you know.
Pretty G move though to, like, just as they're about to cross, like put up a badass storm just for Violet to have all the clouds to fucking
Yeah.
just be churning bolts
Yeah.
out of.
Yeah.
You actually in
That,
Onyx
like-
Storm is a cool thing. You'll realize how important Lilith was when you're just like, oh fuck. Like you meet another character and you're like, wait a minute. Because remember that powers have to have balance, and it's very interesting. It's very cool.
Speaking of really cool signets that we find out about, guess who's manifesting as a first year already? Liam's little sister, Sloane. Very,
Badass.
very badass power, considering her brother had the weakest power I've ever seen in my life.
Someone called that she was a siphon. It was one, I don't remember who it was, but one of you guys said that you thought that she would have a siphoning power. I really remember that because I was blown away. I think it was in fourth wing. Like you guys said something about a siphoning power, and then in Iron Flame, someone was like, "Yeah, like maybe Liam's sister," and it was like a sidebar. But I heard it, and I was like, "How the fuck did they guess that?" Like,
I don't know exactly, or I don't remember exactly. I do know that I said that because of how big of a deal they made Naolan seem, like how he was such a badass with Tunin and he was a siphon. I was
Maybe
like,
it
I
was
feel
this
like we need like another
I think
one
it was
like
this.
coming in, or like that's gonna manifest. And Greg might have been like, well, maybe
Yeah.
it's Stallone. I'm
Yeah,
curious to see what Eric's
Alric, yeah.
manifestation's gonna be, because he hasn't done it yet.
Did you have it? You have
And
a
he has
little.
like a super strong blue dragon.
You do get a little bit of because we keep talking about magic has to balance itself out. We do have a little balancing of magic between Liam and his sister Sloane. Liam, a pathetic power, and Sloane, an absolute god tier power. Siphoning is unreal, and Liam's can just
hang on.
Liam can like give you a peeping Tom 4 miles away
for his binoculars. He did also have the ice power,
Shut ice,
which
he's twofer.
Wait,
which Day, his dragon, do we think that Day then bonded someone directly in his family lineage? I don't remember if it's said or not in the beginning of 1.
It had to have, because there's no way you get 2 signets.
I feel like Nick's thinking if he's trying to remember.
All right, so let me say this.
That is a good catch, Will.
I am not confirming if this is true or not. I do know the answer, but I am not confirming if this is true or not. I could just be, setting you guys up here. When I finished Iron Flame with my other book club, with Drooly, I sat down and we theorized that we thought that maybe Relic Kids had 2 signets, and the second signet came from Melgrim's dragon Coda, because Coda gives them the relic. So our theory is that because Coda, as we learn, is on the side of Orisha, which is funny because Melgrim is not, and it's very funny because I would love to get inside that head in their conversations where Coda's like, we need to protect Orisha, and Melgrim's like, don't fuck them, But our theory is that to get back as a little sly at Melgrim, Coda gives him the kids the relic, which Melgrim can't see when the 3 of them are together because of the relic, so that's like one power in itself. And then our other theory is that's why Liam was able to shoot ice, and there's other things, along the way that we were like, maybe this could be it.
Dude.
But yeah, that was our theory. That was all the
I don't hate
kids
that.
had 2 signets.
I'm actually
Because
you'll see, and I don't think it's no, is it Onyx Storm? It might be Onyx Storm. Violet basically asked Bodhi something, and this is where, like, for example, where people, what I'm sure you guys will bring up, where Zayden's like, no one else knows about his second signet. Bodhi's answer is, no, I'm like Zayden, I don't have a second signet. And it's funny because then you're like, well, shit. Well, like clearly, if Bodhi didn't know, then no one really knew that Xaden had a second signet. But I also love that scene. Not as a little sidebar, I love how Tiernan was like ready to kill Sigale, and Sigale like offers her neck to him as like, you know, like I know I betrayed you, like you can kill me. I thought that was an awesome scene. Love that scene.
It was a tough scene. But actually, before we go on that
was very well done.
I want to bring it back to what you were saying with the whole like possible second signet
Relic.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
You did bring up a little tidbit that Coda's on the side of Arisha. Possible theory right here is Melgrim's a Venom because he has so much control over his own dragon. That brings into my thought process that possibly Melgrim might be a dragon. I'm not dragon. Yikes! Melgrim might be a Venom. Also, it's a little bit suspicious that he can like see the outcome of fights. Why would he have tried? And he said that he was going to lose. He's trying to bait out all the dragons out too. Which because I know there was like another reason as to why people were like, "Well, we're not going to fall for it because he's just trying to like do whatever." But what if they're absolutely correct that he's just trying to bait them out and just get them killed? Because he comes flying back in, and then the only reason that they do that is because obviously they come to minds and figure out that no, we're actually trying to go to this, and it is interesting. I don't know. There's a couple nods to it where I'm thinking Melgrim could possibly be Venom because he does have weirdly control. Because if we're saying, because I don't really remember the passage of where Coda is like a part of Arisha, and. But like, if you're saying that he has control to decide to dragons, because it's very clear, and Darna does not give a shit about what Violet says. She will just do whatever she wants. Yeah. And it's very clear. Tyrion's the same way. They're all very much like, I will do like what I want to do. And then there's certain dragons that are like literally cannot do what they want to do. And
yeah. No, your theory is interesting. The only thing that I disagree with what you said, because I like that whole theory. The only thing I disagree with what you said is the reason why Melgrim comes is because, and you're like, well, if he could predict battles, why does he need them if he's trying to beat them? He can't see that. He could see the outcome that if they're not there, but he can never see the outcome if they were there. So he knows if they don't come to their aid, they will lose 100%. But he can't see because of all the relic kids that are in, like, would be in the picture. He can't see the outcome. So he says, like, I know if you do not come, we die. Like, we lose. But he's like, he also says, like, I don't know if you guys come, what the outcome is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It almost feels, I understand what you're saying. And it feels, I also know why they don't go, because Brennan then says, because yada, 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 the wards, it's not like if that outpost falls, like Navarre is fucked. Like they still have the main ward. My thing is, like, if he was to suspect the outcome of the battle, he would have known that battle would have never taken place.
What battle?
The battle at the outpost. He would have known that the battle never takes place because they were never setting up to attack the outpost.
That, I'm not gonna lie, that whole thing, like, post the meeting when they're talking about it, like trying to figure out what like his intentions were, and then Violet like discovers like, oh, we are not going there, like we need to go to Biscayath. I still don't really see how those dots were connected to like going to Biscayath instead of Samara.
That too, but I'm just trying to say, like, Melgrim, if he could see battles before they happen. All I'm just saying is, like, that battle never is going to take place.
Hold on. Ulysses does say that Melgrim can see, it's like almost like that in Marvel. Like Melgrim can only see like one of the possibilities. Like there is a line after that, because I think Violet says that, or one of them say that, and Ulysses says that like he can't see every single outcome. He can only see like the one outcome. That's also a cop-out answer because I don't know, but I do remember Ulysses does make like a homage to that.
I'm gonna spit even more on this theory, right? Because we're going back to Kodas on the side of Erasure, right? This is where I believe he's even more of a Venom, is because why does Coda put the signets on, but give the ability for Melgrim to not be able to see when three of them are together? Why would Coda ever do that?
Coda didn't do it
Coda does it to
intentionally.
aid.
It was
Well, the theory
it
is
was
that Coda does it
Sloane's.
intentionally.
No, it was Zayden's mom. No, not mom. I think it was Liam's mom, maybe, that made the runes that they all had in their hands.
Yes.
And then when their parents died, that's when the runes, like, I
Those runes
guess,
saved
or
their
like
life.
like the magic transferred from the stone into
Them,
and it was like a one-time use because Zayden
yeah.
says the stone is now useless.
It's useless. Yeah, it was like a one-time use to protect them.
Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, see, like the theory, but no, Will, that was not. That's not what they're saying about the relic thing. Like, we don't really know why they can't, like, you can't see it. The theory is that, like I said, is that Coda, like, gave them that power to like help aid them in their cause, because Coda, the theory is that Coda is on the side of Orisha.
I was just about to
That's the
say,
whole
if he
theory.
is in fact on the side, then that would
That's
make
the
sense
theory.
why he did
That,
that
like,
to protect them
Coda
from
does that
Melgrim.
to protect them from Navarre.
But this is what I'm saying. It only specifically protects them from one person, and that person is Melgrim.
Well, that's the only person that
That's the
Coda
only
would be
person
able
that
to
matters,
protect
though.
them.
I know, but I'm just saying, why would
Melgrim's also the
Coda?
commander of the army.
I'm just saying, but why would Coda choose like only one person to be like protected from?
Because that's the only person that A, like Will said, that he can protect them from, and B, that's the only person that matters because that's their general.
I guess, but I'm just saying, like Coda would have had to foreseen that they were going to do a rebellion again. Like, he doesn't know any of that stuff. I'm just thinking.
Well, I would disagree with that because Andarna was waiting for a gazillion years to hatch because she saw who Violet was going to be.
You also have to remember, Greg, we know nothing about the
right
Imperium. Again, you're on the second book, and it's
True.
the Imperium series. It's about the dragons. We don't know anything about the dragons. And I hate to break it to you, but you feel that way at the end of Onyx Storm, too, that you're like, this is a book about dragons, and I'm still trying to figure out who the fuck the dragons are.
True,
like,
but I just want to spin on that web. I think I'm going on a limb. I think Melgrim is a Venom, probably, because it's just.
I think it's a really cool theory.
Because it's just, there's too many things that are tied together with that. I don't know. And the one big stick in that is that why it just feels like it's very targeted towards him and not towards other generals that could potentially also feel the same way about traitors. And he's just like, I don't really care about that, because he there could be a thought, maybe everyone has a coming to Christ moment, like Lilith kind of has that moment, I guess. Melgrim doesn't really seem, he's just like, I want you guys back at the school now. Come back here. I don't know. It seems like he's playing the long game.
Well, the other thing is too is Melgrim realizes that, like, I mean, Zayden says it too. Like, I took half your army, dude. And like,
I was gonna say that's what I was
so
gonna
cool
bring
too.
up.
When Melgrim's like, I need you to do X, Y, and Z, and Zayden's like, they're not under your command, dude. Like, that's my army. Like, he's like, fuck you, dude. Like, those are my soldiers.
And then even Rebecca
cool.
writes, so like, kind of like how you were saying, like Coda backs up, like. She talks about how like Melgrim just like cowers at that. He's like,
he cowers at it. Like, shit.
He's like, he's right. Like, god damn it,
dude. That happens in Onyx Storm too. Like, where like in the beginning, somebody's like, I'm in charge of all these kids. He's like, Zayden's like, well, actually, technically, I'm in charge of half the cadets here, and you're just like, yeah, I mean, technically, you're right. Like,
The other thing that's interesting is like Melgrim's very dismissive of the whole like the ward situation. Like, it's like, we should just like go fight or what. I can't remember exactly. I just remember him being very dismissive, and then her having to talk individually to Coda to get him to be like, "Will you go like breathe fire on the thing?" And even then, I have to go reread that because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive Melgrim's still like, "Nah, I don't want to do that."
Again, though, but that's my thing. Like, you're sitting here saying like, oh, like Coda's soft, like Melgrim has complete control over him. Melgrim makes the decision that he's going to, not do what Melgrim wants him to do. Coda tells like Violet, yes, I will be there. Where Melgrim's like, no, he won't. And Melgrim's like, yeah, Coda's like, yes, I will.
But my thing is,
Melgrim doesn't want it.
What if Melgrim
doesn't think it's real?
I'm just thinking, what if Melgrim foresaw the end of the battle? The end of the battle was, we're going to get Violet this way.
I think he said that maybe. He didn't because there was,
and he knew that like
his theory that this is his theory if he's met in.
Yeah, this is my theory
He's
that
saying
he's
that
been
like
in.
maybe he saw that like if they didn't power the ward stone,
Oh,
the
I
Venom
see
would
what you're
get
saying.
violent. That's what he's saying. Yeah.
Yeah, that he was like that's why he's going anti, but Coda's
Yeah.
like obviously has a soft spot for the Eurasia rebellion, stuff like that. So I'm saying that because she broke the dragon lore of like actually talking to him, it was like, all right, fine. Because like he doesn't
That's
really
not
say
the first
anything.
time she's done that.
Does it
Though.
twice?
I know, I'm
Does
just
it
saying
twice?
like it seems
Yeah.
like
Orange Dragon.
she's willing to do that. And yeah, I don't know. There's little pieces to it because like why can't you talk to other people's dragons? There's a little slip up of there. Like why is that even a big deal? Is there must be more to it because people are hiding secrets. I don't want you to know things.
Maybe.
I
Yeah.
think it's just like the dragons are like territorial people, and they
Arcs.
don't like we talked about how like the dragon human relationship is like helping one
Secret.
need to like helping
Yeah.
one other need.
But
And
is it
it's
like
like a
they
need
so they don't
need.
really view them as that valuable. They're just like a means to an end.
Yeah.
So it's like I'll respect one of you, but not all of you.
I don't know.
We'll remember that.
But my thing is like I don't know. Coda doesn't really seem like that kind of dragon though. Because if that was really the case, they're territorial. Don't talk to
Especially
me.
when you meet the. Keep that on lock, dog.
I'm just saying, like I don't.
Oh,
I
for
feel like
the
certain
seven
breeds,
dragon?
maybe not.
Keep that on lock.
What are the Idra?
No, the
Erads.
Erads.
Erads, Idra.
The one thing I thought was really
You
cool
brought up
with
Idra,
the
so
Erad or the Idrads or whatever is, I love that on Darna, her fire kills Venom.
Is it the
Yeah.
fire that kills the venom, or is her ripping
Yes.
the head off?
No, the fire. Fire
It
kills
feels-
Venom.
It
It's probably
seemed
a
like it
dual
was the
combo.
fire, but it's a wombo combo. Like it's
Yeah, I
it's
think
a
like
together
the
thing.
fire,
Damage multiplier.
The fire kills
Yeah.
the venom, and then she rips the head off to make sure, because that's when Violet's like, "Your fire just killed the venom," and that's when Violet's like, "What are you?" Like, you know what I mean? And then she
Well,
kinda
first she
figures
was
it
even
out.
just like, "You breathe fire now." She's like, "Yep, I do."
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's like, "That's right, bitch." Yeah.
Before we've
Yeah.
been talking a lot about the end shit, and we can
Oh,
get
yeah.
back to it. I just feel like the last thing we should mention before going full in on the end is Zayden's second signet, and then the like sparring mat situation where they like make rules about their
Oh, yes.
like relationship going forward. Because I know Greg has something he wants to say about the rules part, but we can talk about Zayden's signet first, and then
Second signet.
Greg,
Awesome.
you can take over.
Makes total sense. I love it all makes sense now how he knew that, you know, like in the snow when like, you know, he basically says like, "Oh, I've loved you from that moment, blah 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 blah." Like I thought that was sick. That, you know, because he knew that she wanted to kiss him. I thought that was fun. I also love the fact that like the reason why he trusted, you know, Riddick and like Quinn and all them is because he quickly read them, knew he could trust them. I love in the dungeon scene, especially when Violet's like, "Are you sure we can?" Or is it Violet? I don't think it's Violet. I think Garrick says like, "Are you sure we can trust him?" And he goes, "Yes, he's good." It's because he read his intentions. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
There's-
when Dane
it's
shields
really
it.
awesome. Like after you learn that, when you guys do your reread for like when the fourth book comes out, and we do a reread and stuff like that, and you guys know that like that's his second signet. There's so many times that you're like, "Oh, that's right." There's so many times where Violet's like, "I didn't think I said that out loud."
I was
And,
gonna
like,
say
he
that.
doesn't
Yeah.
say it out
Mhm.
loud. He just read her like her thoughts. Like, you know what I mean?
That's
I thought that
like-
was just really cool.
I picked up on that foreshadowing. I
Mhm.
didn't realize like it was for a second signet, but I was always like, man, she really like says things out loud that she didn't mean to, like a lot. And
Mhm.
I thought it was something that was gonna be like the bond between them is like stronger than Violet realizes, and since Zayden's like not more powerful in general, but just like
Yeah.
at this point, like he's like mastered his magic more. Like
Mhm.
I was like, oh, maybe he can read more into the bond. But then once like they started having that fight, and like she's like going through like what he needs, like to like what
Yeah.
the signet would be, I was like, oh, he's got to be something like that. And it,
Mhm.
like you go back to the scene with Jeremiah when Carr snaps his neck.
Mhm.
Like Zayden
Yes.
like talks about like specifically like what she needs to do in order to like avoid it and everything.
Yes,
I just
he's
thought that
like
was really
shields, like
cool because
shields. Yeah.
yeah, because there's like you said in the beginning, like there's so much foreshadowing,
So much
and like you
foreshadowing.
pick up on it, and like you can think it's one thing, but like it's something
It's something
completely
else.
else. But you'll realize it like just the second before it's realized, because you're like,
Yep.
oh, that's what that foreshadowing was.
Yeah. Greg, before you go, one thing I think my favorite thing about that whole scene is that to me is when Violet's character really like in this book a lot, Violet kind of steps up a lot. But that was the point where I was like, badass confidence bitch. Like when she says, because Fourth Wing Violet would have never been able to accept that. And his line when he's like, less than a second. And she's like, what? And he's like, that's, or less than a minute. And she's like, what? And he's like, that's how long it took you to fall out of love with me. And I love the part when she's like, my love for you is not fickle. She's like, you better not die because I am ready to ask all the questions. And then she comes back and like, she like doesn't harp on it. She asks him all the fucking questions. And then like, she's just ready to move on. I thought that was perfect because when I first read it, I was so worried that it was just going to be like Fourth Wing, and I was ready to give the book 3 fucking stars and be like, this is terrible. I'm dropping the series. I'm done. But I thought that was a major accomplishment in the book to have Violet grow and be like, no, fuck you. I love you no matter what. Like, I got you. Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was great. So go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I really, I was before I talk about the thing I want to talk about. I was trying to go off of what you guys were thinking with his like intrinsic abilities, with the intentions. I'm trying to think back to specific moments where they're separated. You know, he's on the front lines, and she's back in the spot. I'm trying to think of if there is ever a moment where him and JB ever have like have a moment, because he would have been able to tell Jack Barlow's intentions. Would have been
He tells her multiple times that Jack Barlow fucking hates you and he wants to kill you.
but that was like I'm thinking that's pre, and I don't think he's ever saw him again, because I don't think he can't like at least I'm not sure of his abilities. So
no, the last time he sees him is after
is before he dies. Yeah,
and that's it. Yeah.
So I was trying to see I'm trying to like go back in the memory banks to try to see if he would have had a prediction, or
but you would also think he would have been able to sense that, unless Jack JB was shielding, because you would think that like Jack Barlow, he became Venom on the mat when he fought Violet on the mat. That's when he became Venom.
Yeah.
So he was Venom that whole time, because he says like he's channeling into her. And that's when they're like, no signets, no signets. It wasn't a signet. He was channeling from the ground, like into her. And so that's why it's like you would think that Xaden would have been able to read his thoughts and like figured that out. But then I guess like if he was shielding, like, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of like the black and white of the book, where it's like, well,
Well, it also is like Xaden can do it like against like normal people, or like just riders anyway that we've seen in like flyers and whatnot. But like there's nothing if you can see Venom's intentions,
you're right,
like
because
if they're
even
too powerful.
Yeah, like even in Onyx Storm, like it's never said that he could read Venom's like minds. He can sense Venom because dun dun dun, he is Venom, but he can't, like, it's never once, like, that's a very interesting point that Will just brought up. Like, it's never once said that he can read a Venom's intention. That was a good thought, Will. But sorry, Greg, go back to it, Greg.
Yeah, no. There's an interesting tidbit just about that, because maybe he can read the intentions. Maybe he's just blocked because he's just like, I already know he wants to kill her. That's already things. But I was thinking more after, like post his death, when he comes back. I'm thinking, did he ever have a chance to read the intentions? I'm also thinking the intentions aren't really that powerful in the grand scheme of things, because it's not like he's actually reading into what the intentions
are. The way
he
describes it's really interesting. Like,
it's more about like the fighting. Yeah, like he says, like he can use, like he knows what your next move's going to be like when you're fighting. So that's pretty valuable. But he can't read your thoughts. Like he just reads your intention. So like it's like if we were sitting here and you're like, like, he could read that, like, oh shit, like Nick's tired, or like, Sarah's bothering Will, or freaking Greg wants to eat dinner, like, you know what I mean, like something like that. But I don't think he can like read our thoughts where it's like, oh, Greg's depressed because Garrett Cole's not pitching till 2026, like, like things like that, like. But I think it's more useful for fighting, because like when she asked him, like when they're on the battlefield, like Will was saying, like the descriptions are very brief, like it's not like very in depth but all that stuff. But to answer, he does not see Jack Barlowe again until they're downstairs with the ward, and then he watches him kill his dragon, because the only time he knows is when Violet and him are chilling in their bed, like in the bedroom, and she's like, oh, you wouldn't fucking believe it, Jack Barlow's back, like, he's alive and he's trying to kill me again, and he's like, stay away from him. That's like the only thing he says,
because it's like, if he became Venom at the challenge, which is like proven, that was the challenge when she shoved fucking oranges down his mouth, and like then after that it almost feels like the next time he's like mentioned is at War Games when she drops the fucking mountain on him. Although, so is the challenge before or after threshing? Because technically the challenge is after threshing. Okay, that makes sense then.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say Zane.
Your dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's some other things I want to.
Now you know why. Now you know why he didn't die from the building, because he was Venom.
Yeah, that makes sense now. I want to read more into this intention stuff.
The squish theory by Greg didn't.
Pancake theory, yeah.
Yeah, the pancake theory.
Dude, the pancake theory works now for sure, because if you're Venom, pancake theory.
Oh, it doesn't work.
No, but
dude, when I was editing the podcast, I was dying when fucking Will's like, "What is this, Space Jam? We're just gonna pump air into him."
Yeah, dude, it's what it felt like.
But I want to know more about the intentions of other things. Because I'm going back to my Melgrain theory. He doesn't really know the intentions of Melgrain. I feel like they both can't really read each other.
But he's not around. Like, he's not around Melgrim enough.
Because their shields are out.
That and like Dane Atos, not his father.
All of their shields are up.
Because Violet says in that meeting, she's like, forget like trying to like make it up to me or whatever, like read their fucking minds and see what they want to do.
Yeah.
And he's like, the only one with their shields down is that like Major next to your mom, and she's gonna do whatever she can to like get us to help.
And she's ready. Yeah, she was like ready to fight if she had to or whatever. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, well let's get off that, because
let's get into the sparring mat and the
sparring mat
that are made, because Greg's got something on it. I'm not sure what it is.
I love the rules. The rules are great.
What are your thoughts on the sparring mat situation?
The rules are quite contradictory, I might say. That's all I could say about the rules for right now. But the mat's cool. I think the mat hole thing's cool. I like how she gets 2 new blades. I want to learn more.
It's a callback.
Yeah, where
so a little callback to Fourth Wing.
Yeah, there's some suggestions, some cool stuff.
I thought that was great. I liked that.
Very cool. But let's tie into these rules. I almost wish I had the rules like pulled up and I could read from them.
Remember the rules
word for word. I almost feel like I should. But
so the one was like Zayden's basically like, I forget what one Zayden says first, but then Violet's like, no more of this fucking question bullshit. Like, you tell me like what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you need to tell me what you know. And then he's like, since now that like the second signet, which is the biggest secret's out, he's like, okay, like done. Even when it's like classified, I will tell you if it like affects you in like any way. Which I agree. Like, I think that the whole question bullshit was basically just because of the second signet thing.
Yeah,
because she like calls him out, like, you told me that your
because he could read
dragon was like a family bond, so like you knew I'd get there eventually.
Yeah, and he says
like that's what the whole fucking loop around is.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like that, and then Zayden's like, you can never like, you have to promise me that like no matter what happens, you always come back and we'll talk or fight about like whatever's going on.
Yeah. Those are the rules. I can't find the exact text from the scriptures
I'll
here
tell you
Iron Flame. But basically, what I'm
Chapter
trying to say.
58.
No, I know what chapters. I can't find the exact page in chapter 58. I'm not gonna spend 15 minutes trying to find it. But I found it so hypocritical or contradictory, the rules. The rule about him, that she throws at him, going, "You no more asking questions. I don't want to have to ask you any questions. You need to tell me things, right?" And he's like, "All right, done. I agree." And she's like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "You're for sure." He's like, "I'm for sure." They make a big deal about being for sure about that, right? And then he drops in there. He's like, "So do you want to know about my grandfather? Do you want to know about the drag?" I forget. I can't forget. He brings up specifically something.
Yeah.
And then her immediate thought is like, "Whoa, that's too much. I don't really want to know that. I'm gonna then, you know what? I'm just gonna ask you questions." Why are we making a rule about not asking? I don't have to ask any more questions. And then he offers information, and then she just like, "I don't want the information.
No.
Fuck the information." Let me ask you some questions. No, Will.
I think it's too much into it.
Stop it, Nick.
It's not about like not asking questions.
It's not questions. It's we don't keep secrets.
We don't keep secrets, and it's her line is around the line. It's around the idea of like, she's like, it's not about the questions. It's stop telling me I have to ask the right questions. Just tell me the information, because that's what pisses her off. Because like she knows now, because he's an intrinsic, that he knew the whole time that like, and that's what he says. And I love that line when he's like, "I know you've been dying to ask me like this question. Like, I know you've been dying to ask me this question, but you won't do it." And he gets all pissed off. I think that line's amazing. I love when he calls her out for that. But I think that's why it's not about her asking questions. She doesn't want to ask questions. She doesn't want to be told to ask the right questions. That like, if there's a secret, just fucking tell her. And she'll tell him. Like, that's the big
But
thing.
I think it's clear in that. Before you go, Will, I'll let you read in a second. But just my thoughts on it before is, it's clear to me in that situation that she does not actually want to know the answer to. She does not want him to come forward with truths. She does not actually genuinely want to know them. She genuinely only wants to know the questions that she wants answers to. And I think intrinsically he knows her intentions are that she will only ask questions that she actually wants to know the answer to. And I think that bothers him, because he knows there's other things that need to be brought up and that she won't bring up because she doesn't want to know the truth of them. And I think intrinsically he can't see those. He can only see the intentions of the questions that she's willing to ask, but she knows there's intentions.
He calls her out for that.
I get it, but I'm just saying she is so contradictory to her own self, where because even when he offers her information or like, let's talk about this, she's like, "Nah, I don't actually want to know about that. I only want to know about the selective truths that I want to know." So it's weird for her to complain about something that herself is, it's more of a projection of herself. She is, if anything, Satan is like playing, like being correct and assuming exactly what she wants, and she herself is just like, that is just how it is.
Gregory, she admits she was wrong at the end of the book. In the final battle, she says, "I wish I asked him more and wasn't afraid of the answers."
But that's what she says. I wish I asked him more. She's still not over selective truths. No,
she understands.
Stop it.
Greg,
No.
what you're building your argument off of
is beautiful.
Like when
big dog.
he's like, so Nick's right about like talking about like, she says like no more secrets. Then it's like a big paragraph about like, oh, like everyone's been like hiding like shit from me and like wants me to ask the right questions. But like the line she says, "But I need you to stop setting me up for failure by insisting I figure out what there is to ask." Couple fucking paragraphs later, what you're building your argument off of, like, they agree, like, done, like that's fine, like everything's good, and he's like, done. Want to know about my father, my grandfather, and Segale, the rebellion. Like, after the fight they just had, that seems like it's going to be like a 2-hour conversation about like that information, and she just goes with maybe something easier to start. Well, yeah,
As we know.
That's probably as we know, that's what she wants to do
That's
immediately
what she
after
wanted,
fucking big things.
Mhm.
Let's see
But-
what.
So she's like, maybe something easier. Where's your mother? And then she realizes very
Yes.
quickly that was the wrong fucking thing to talk about.
That is a crazy dude. The mother stuff is wild.
I'm assuming we're gonna get.
Onyx
more
But you get where I'm
Onyx
going
Storm.
from. But we understand.
I get
I'm
where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I
so,
don't
like,
think
you're
if-
sitting here acting like you don't know the end of the book. That Violet admits that she was wrong, and that like.
But I'm just
you
saying,
want
she
to,
doesn't.
like, wants all of the information.
She admits to nothing. She admits to not asking the correct questions or not being willing to ask the right questions. She's still not in a situation where she is willing to accept information from somebody else without asking. Even though she is demanding it upon other people, she won't do it. She won't do it. You know it's true. I'm sorry. You can be butthurt all you want, but it is true.
So long.
She only
so
wants
long.
selective truths, and those selective truths are the ones she's willing to like listen to.
Bro,
I mean,
at
it's
the
clear.
End of the book, she says that she wants
I know.
everything there is to do with Zayden. She admits. I'm not
I
discrediting. the argument.
understand.
Yes, where you are arguing, yes, she only wants selective truth, but she says she doesn't want it when it comes to Zayden. She wants everything now.
I understand,
Everything. She
but
knows.
I'm just saying, at the end of Iron Flame, she says she wants all this stuff. Let's be real, Will. I mean, Nick. She's been saying it the entire damn fucking book is going, I need to trust you. You need to tell me everything. Yada, 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 yada.
Even the whole fucking book was telling her that he can't tell her anything classified, and then he's like,
No.
okay, done. I'll tell
You
whatever
have to ask
want."
me
That's
questions.
what the
He
whole
goes,
fucking
no,
rules
stop
fight
it.
was about. They
He
fight,
goes-
they argue, they come
The
to a
whole
decision
fuck-
on what shit is, and then
understand.
literally like 5 chapters later, we see that they're listening
Oh,
to the
how-
rules because it's like whatever vote after the original meeting by the assembly to go to whether they go help at Samara or not. And Zane's like, well, the rest is classified, but what I can tell you is that like I lost. I voted for us to go,
Yes.
but
No,
like he was like listens to what he said he would do. And the
Yes.
same with Violet. Like I don't really see anything like post that fight. There's nothing really between them that's like out of anger. Like it's just like
Exactly. Greg's just
like they
wrong.
go
Well,
into
no,
the
that's not
final
what I'm
battle
arguing.
like fully back in like love and ready to go.
Dude, I'm not arguing. I see your guys' point. I understand. It's a great, but I'm not arguing that. I'm simply arguing that she only wants selective truths, and Zayden, being intrinsic, knows that, and it pisses him off that she refuses to ask questions, and he also knows that she does not care about information that he brings to her. And this is apparent when he finally does break and say, with that rule, I'll bring you information, and she don't want it. All I have to say is
That
the
was
entire
literally
book.
argued, case open, case closed on that.
No, I'm just saying, if we
Like,
go
that
all the
was
way to the
said-
beginning of the book, if we go all the way back to the beginning of the book, and the whole time she's complaining, crying about I can't trust you, blah, 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 right? Now we know Zayden's intrinsic, right? We know the intentions of what it is. He knows her intentions is not that she
makes
gives a
sense
fuck
why-
about the questions.
Okay, it makes sense why she couldn't trust him.
Dude, in that
No, I get
sparring
it,
match,
but, like-
fight that they had,
Oh,
they're
we just-
literally like, we can't keep going like seeing no more like half truths and like hidden secrets because we don't know if one of us is all the way in or not. And they're like, okay, done. Like we're fully in this. We're fucking done with secrets. We're done with fucking having to ask questions to like get the truth. If it's important to one another, like we know that there's gonna be classified shit. But
Dude, it's
like
his women,
if it
bro.
has
What does he
anything,
say? My house, my throne, my woman.
all
I'm just
I
saying,
have
Yeah,
to say is like
exactly.
from
line's
the
fire,
from the
Nick.
beginning of the book,
Yeah, it is.
from
He's
the
a
beginning of the
pimp.
book, he is intrinsic. He knows exactly what her intentions are, what he needs to say. I'm just saying, like, if he really felt like if him keeping secrets from her was a real problem and he knew her
You know what?
intentions
He's offended.
would
He
have
can't
been.
feel anything anymore. Okay.
Well, I'm just saying.
He stopped reading her intentions after the fucking like she learned how to shield.
Yes.
No,
It was just at the snow, really,
if
and
we're going off that we're not using our signets at this point, that's crazy. I'm sorry. Zayden's a bitch. Get him out of here. Get him
Oh
out
my
of here,
God,
bro.
what?
Bring Dane in. Dude, we need Dane. You know what? Bring Dane and fucking read Zayden's mind. That's what we need. We need to know the damn truth right now. These damn traitors are running amok.
There's literally
They're
nothing
running
saying that he
amok.
hasn't given us the truth at
No,
this point.
dude.
This needs to be a fucking clip right here.
They're running amok in the bar right now.
Me saying Zane's a pimp. 5 seconds later, Zane's a bitch.
Damn it, that's the first one. Will and I are
That's
having
the
a
first
fucking
one.
side.
That was good.
That's the first one. Will and I are having a fucking side conversation saying he's a pimp. Like Will said, 5 seconds later, Chris like saying he's a bitch.
But dude, it's true. It's true.
Dude,
No.
yeah.
It's true. I'm sorry, but I'm dying on this hill. It's true. Dude, I honestly, I'm fully on. Zayden could die in the next book. I have no problem with it. I won't feel anything. If Dane dies, I might have to. Dude, if Dane dies, I might have to wrap the book up here. We might have to go back 1 star every book. It might go crazy. I'm sorry.
That's wild, dude. I don't know how you're a Dane lover.
I wasn't a Dane lover.
Comprehending this book.
But Dane is playing. He's the man. Dane is the man. Everything he does is correct. I'm sorry, he hasn't done a single thing wrong.
Dude, Dane's the kid
he
that gets
killed Liam. I'm not having this argument again.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I'm on the side that these traitors are bad people. I'm on the side.
We can't go back to this.
Liam could be bad. I'm just saying. He's my favorite character, but he could be bad. Think about this. Why do we spend so much time?
Dead. How is he bad?
I'm just saying. Why are we spending so much time trying to save Vi? That seems like venom. That seems like venom activity.
Okay, speaking of venom, let's get into it. Zayden is a venom.
I just planted a seed in Will's head right there.
We're at the end.
Crazy part.
We're at the end of the book.
Zane's a venom and Darna's the one.
Everyone, look at Will.
How did you guys react?
The seed is planted. It's there.
Will,
take it away.
Shut and throw it.
Take it away.
I was very mad. I kind of reading the conversation after the battle, just Violet and Zayden talking, and she's like, he won't look me in the eyes, anytime something comes up, he's like, and then looks away. I was like, this is sus. What's going on here? This has me nervous. And then it was just confirmed, and then it was the way that she wrote it. It was not officially confirmed at the end of the last Violet chapter, but 95%, and then the Zayden chapter is just fuck my life, and then Jack's just there is no cure, they just try and control it, we're brothers now. Fucking JB,
dude, the comeback tour is literally selling out right now.
I'm probably gonna 5-star it. I haven't rated it yet, but the ending really makes me want to throw a 4 on it.
Dude, I think the ending's great though. The ending makes me made me want more. And the difference is, you guys don't have to, you don't have to go through. I waited 1.5 years. So 1.5 years, I had to let that sit and fucking marinate. What the fuck was gonna happen next? And my favorite part of the end, it's so stupid, but it just explains Violet's character because she's so horny that he's vented, great. And then it's the next scene is Zayden's chapter, and then he's like, all right, I snuck out of my bed with Violet. It's bro, you just fought these fucking people. They've killed everybody you've loved. You've watched Liam die from these motherfuckers. And your first instance is, it's okay. I'm just going to sleep in the same bed with one. They're not going to hurt me. Fuck. Doesn't make any sense.
Well,
the dreams are coming true.
About book 3, just because the way their characters are and the way how they just solved the fight. And of course they're gonna have to be fighting again. Zayden's 100% gonna be, or 100%. I think, I don't want it to happen, is gonna be pushing her away. you can't be by me. I'm bad for you now. Like we don't know what's gonna
Exactly how I
happen.
thought book 3 was gonna go.
Yeah, that like
I'm
I
not saying if that's how it goes
strongly
or
feel.
not, but that was my theory as
Yeah,
well.
that like it definitely seems
Yeah.
like that, especially since even though Greg doesn't agree, they did just like make up completely. And
Well,
Well, okay,
also
I'm
so
not
of course,
arguing. I'm not
he was
arguing that
kind
they
of
made
well
up.
as
I'm not
well.
arguing that they made up. I'm just arguing that
Greg wants
Okay,
Vi.
Dean
okay.
gone, so Dean can get Violet. That's what it is.
Well, no, I'm just
Dude, I don't
saying.
think we realize that everything we know says that if Zayden dies, fucking Violet's gonna die. So then Dane's just gonna be sitting there, even more of a little
I
bitch
think-
boy
I
crying.
think-
Not
I think
true.
Greg,
Not
I
true.
think Greg just wants to read a sex scene with Dane in it. I think that's really what it is. Greg's curious what Dane's got back in it. It makes sense
Dude,
now.
That's
Tell
incorrect.
Dane to keep that fucking chode in his pants.
Dude,
right?
that's
We
incorrect.
don't need that.
Incorrect. All I have to say is we know that the dragons can the whole they're tied, and if one dies, the other one. That's not true. It's not going to happen. Stegale would have never bent the knee to her neck to be killed by Taryn if that was true. So
Well,
I'm just going to throw
the
that
theory- the
whole
theory is- hold on,
logic,
the theory
shoot
is-
it out of a cannon right out the door.
The theory is that if Violet died or Tiernan died, Stegale and Xaden would die. The theory is that if Xaden or Stegale died, Tiernan would probably die, but because Violet has 2 dragons, Violet and Andarna would live. That's the theory.
The other thing is,
Everybody thinks that Xaden and Stegale would 100% die.
here's okay. I'm not gonna go more on that. I'm just gonna leave it. We'll leave it marinating. And I'm also gonna point out it was way too easy to make Xaden a Venom. I'm just gonna toss that out there. I think he's gonna spend all of Onyx Storm trying to make her a Venom. We're gonna be pro Dane at the end of it because Dane's gonna save her somehow from this. It's gonna go crazy. That's all I can really
He's
say.
also not truly a Venom right now. Like he's like an initiate. So like,
Dude, Cadet, you're a Venom. I'm sorry. You're just a Venom.
Yeah,
you're
but, like,
beat.
dude,
He's an
I'm
ass.
honest,
He's an
you're
ass
not
knee.
You're
an
not a
ass-knee now.
full-grown Venom, and so like you have to channel a certain number of times until like you're finally like a
Dude.
full-grown Venom. But what
So I
Jack
have a
Barlow says
theory.
is that like when he says like no, there is no cure. Like you're just gonna like you can't put it off because you're just gonna crave it. And Rebecca does a splendid job in Onyx Storm, like explaining it that it's like the power is always beneath them. So like there are different parts of the book where Xaden's like it is so easy, like it's right there every single time, every 24/7. It is
But
right underneath
even-
him, and he can see it. It's
Even
like-
Violet says that in one of the last chapters when she's fighting. I think when she's fighting the 2 Venom, when Cat's there, she's like, "Oh, I could just like channel from the ground."
And
But
that's when
like,
Tiernan's
no,
like
I can't
absolutely
do
not.
that.
Yeah,
All I could say is it was just way too easy to make Xaden a Venom. It was just way too easy.
turn for
Well,
love. What do you mean?
He wasn't made for it. Yeah,
I'm
he
starting
did it.
to think this whole love spiel isn't really love. That's all I have to say. We're talking an intrinsic who knows how to push someone's buttons to make them fall more and more in love with somebody. Dude, all I have to say is
That's
I think,
not what.
I think
Dude.
Xaden was bad from square one. I've called it here. Dane was the good guy always.
No, this is like you said when we read the next book. Greg's would be like the people that are killing all the Chinese people. He's be like, oh, they're the good guys.
Dude, I'm
Like,
telling you, it was
Yeah, dude,
set
it's
up
like-
from the beginning.
well, you read a Mein Kampf and you're going to tell me that Hitler's good, bro? Like, what's
Dude.
going on here, dude? Like,
I'm just
what's
saying.
going on?
I'm just saying. Watch, if the 5th book comes out and I was right this
Like,
entire
that's
time,
good pull.
Fucking description, Mein Kampf spoiler.
dude. If
that was a good pull. Come on, that was
all
a
I
good
have to
pull.
say,
That was good.
if the 5th book comes out and I am right, I'm taking a victory lap, literally
Greg,
around the
I
USA.
tell you what, Greg, if you were right, if I will make a bet with you at the end of the book, if you're right that Xaden's bad this whole time and she ends up with Daden,
That
Dane's the
shit would
fucking
go
hero,
hard.
dude. I'll fucking you come back to Jersey. I'll take you out. I pay the whole the whole tab for the whole day wherever you want to go.
Oh, that'd be beautiful.
But there's just no way that's happening.
I'm sorry,
There's
dude.
no way that's
there is a
Oh,
world
we can
where
turn
that
it into
happens.
a 2-day thing. I'll take 1 day because that's not happening.
Dude, all I have to say is, dude,
I'll
remember
take
this.
you for a new golf club.
Dude,
game, Greg.
remember,
we'll go-
Dude,
I'll buy you Montana.
I'm about to slip
for
more into your
everything.
brain here, dude. Melger wants to go defend the outpost. He goes, we need to go defend the outpost, right? Who on the assembly votes to go defend the outpost?
Please in the comments, can we all just agree that Greg
Will,
is
that
fucking
seed
crazy,
is
dude?
there and it's growing. Who is
Crazy.
on the assembly that votes to go to the outpost to defend it? Zayden.
Zayden. And where does he go?
What is Zayden now? A Venom.
But why does he go
Bland.
to Disguise?
It's
Because
bland.
Violet tells him it's the way to go.
Dude, I think
You think
low-key,
he was-
he
you
thinks
think
that Vi
Zayden
was going
was
to die.
planning-
I think he thinks Vi was going to die, so he's like, fuck it, I'm going to become a Venom now because it doesn't matter anymore. And it's a shocker that she's alive.
No, I think he was like, I need to get out of here to
Dude.
save Violet. So he fucking grabbed as much power as he could to
Violet.
save himself.
The reason he
And
turned Venom
He
is
also
because
knew
he
that
felt
if he
Violet
died,
dying.
he'd probably kill Violet. Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah.
felt Violet dying.
Exactly.
So he turned Venom to save Violet.
Exactly.
Why are you saying exactly like this is what you were saying? Just describe.
Exactly. Because he was like, fuck it, dude. I don't have to hide anything anymore. I could just become a Venom. I'm already on the side. Dude, I'm cooking if you don't see what I'm seeing right now.
Greg is a fucking idiot.
Dude, this should be the
Greg read
title.
a different book.
The title should be "We finished Iron Flame, but Greg finished book 5 already." That's what this should be. That's what this title should be. Because I just cooked. I'm sorry, guys. I just spoiled the entire Imperium series for everyone. You're gonna read the book and you're gonna be like, wow, this is exactly how Greg did it. Rebecca, you might as well change the series now because I ruined it for everybody. Change it now. I ruined it for everyone.
And yeah, you know what, Greg? You're only saying that because when it's so completely opposite of what you just said, you're gonna say Rebecca saw our video. She knew she had to change it.
Exactly.
Rebecca knew I was on to her.
Exactly. She knew that I saw it, and I ruined possibly the best ending ever.
Oh my god, dude!
Dude, I'll tell you,
my
watch it happen, dude. Oh my god.
Not gonna happen. I will say this: just like in Iron Flame, Onyx Storm starts off exactly where Iron Flame leaves off. So that's really fun and exciting, which is nice. I think Onyx Storm is the best book in the whole series. I don't even think it's close. I think you guys will really, really enjoy it. I think it will bring your love back to the book, Gregory. So I think the last thing is what did you guys rate it? I rated it 5 stars. And actually, when I reread it, I would argue that it deserved more than 5 stars. But I also, reread it knowing a lot more information. And I think it's a great book.
I rated it 5 because I predicted the ending. Zayden is bad.
You like the ending?
I did like the ending. I didn't dislike the ending because, like, Nick, when I texted you, you thought that I hated the ending. I didn't hate the ending. I was confused because it was like, wow, the whole like Zayden becoming a Venom was not really. It's like really short chapter, and then all of a sudden we're like waking up from a dream.
It's a big slap across the face. Yeah. You're just like, what the fuck?
I mean, I liked, and I love, dude. I'm a big fan of JB. I'm sorry, his comeback tour is huge for me right now. The stocks are up.
He's a good man.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of a new villain coming back, and yeah, I'm a big fan of him.
I think you'll like the villain in Onyx Storm. It's I'm not going to say if it's a boy or a girl. It's the character is very complex, and I think both of you will really like the character. I think Greg will really like the character.
It's gonna be Greg's gonna want that character to get with Dane, man or woman. It doesn't matter. They're gonna get together, and Greg's
Everyone's gonna be banging Dane by the end of the book. All right, well, give me your thoughts.
I didn't rate it yet. We'll probably give it 5. I've been in between. I didn't hate the ending. It was just like you said, Nick. It's like a slap in the face. It's like because like obviously they had to do it like not necessarily like that, but something similar to this because like they weren't gonna end it on like a happy note. Like how I said, like Zayden and Violet are in a great spot. The wards just went up, and like the closest person to dying was Sawyer like the core people, but he like we know he didn't die.
You don't know that.
They say that he's chilling in the infirmary.
He's in surgery.
Well, they said he came out. They waited 3 hours or whatever.
I thought they said he came out.
I thought at the end of Iron Flame says he's in surgery still.
Continue.
It might have been. I think it's assumed that, or Reese says like he's like doing well, so maybe the surgery's just going well and he's coming through or whatever. But just like everything's looking up. Like, yeah, Lilith dies, but like that's not. We already talked about how like that's not big enough to like be the primary ending of the book. So like something big has to set up the next book. It's just tough that that's what it is, but. Like if Rebecca says their end game, like I don't think I don't think Zane's just gonna become full Venom and like they're gonna fight at the end and that like the end of the book's gonna be Zayden leading the Venom and like fucking Violet leading the traitors and then like Melgren's the hero leading like the good people. Like I don't see that happening. But we'll see. I mean I told you when I finished it, like you said, I think it's just gonna be the Cure, like trying to find it book 3.
Yeah, soft spoiler. Onyx Storm does end with a slap across the face too. It's more of a happy slap across the face, but it's still a slap across the face, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like one of those. But it's more of a
dad gonna be alive?
I'm not saying. I'm not
Should
fucking
I call my shot now without reading the page? The dad's alive too.
There's your little spoiler.
No, I don't know. I needed 5 chapters to call Brennan, so we'll see if 5 chapters Papa Sorengale is alive.
You do get to learn Papa Sorengale's actual name. His first name.
Okay, that's a cool tidbit.
Yeah, it's like a little fun tidbit.
Going back though, going back to what we were talking about, I guess it's still kind of, I guess, what I would think might happen in Onyx Storm. The siphon thing I've talked about how, like, seems to be, like, this super powerful fucking thing that's, like, super rare. And, like, the 2 examples we've gotten is that, like, maybe Naolan saved Brennan. Like, we don't know the full details about that, but that, like, seems like something. And then Sloane transferring Lilith and Acemir's power into the Wardstone. And how I said the magic is the balance thing. What if Sloane or another powerful siphon that we meet, because Sloane probably wouldn't be strong enough, could pull the excess energy out of Zayden? Because like basically his scales would be like, if 100% is like what it's supposed to be, he's at like 105, 110 basically, like getting the extra power. What if Sloane's able to suck that out and then distribute that before it eats her up, like into like another stone or like more alloy daggers or something? I think they would have thought of that by now, but again, since Naolan, it doesn't seem like there's any siphon that's been around. So maybe Felix will be helpful in this situation because he knows way more about signets than fucking Car's bitch ass.
That could be an interesting thing. So you're saying you think Sloane might be the cure to Venons? Is she siphons
I'm not
out?
saying not Sloane in particular, but like the siphon ability
siphon in general.
Because like they're able to absorb. Because siphons are basically like the way it's described. They can like take in and take out. The take in is basically what Venom are. They just take in like all the extra magic.
Yes.
So
they're taking
and like basically like the general of
really
like the one that's like hunting Violet is like operating at like 600% magic or something. Like something ridiculous that he's so much more powerful than everyone else.
Like you're saying, like maybe like because he's just an initiate, and it's only like you said, like 5%.
That's what like he's not even like he just has a little bit of red in his eyes. Like Jack's way further than Zayden is.
Dude, that could be.
I don't think Sloane could do it now because, like, say it works, right? The tricky part would be Sloane absorbing the excess magic from Zayden and then being able to get rid of it without her fuck up, like without that magic fucking her up.
Dude, that could be a nod to the whole Naolan, like Brennan, just to go off of what you're talking about, where maybe Brennan did become a Venom and to like save himself because he was going to die, and then Naolan ended up siphoning all the venom out of him and then killed himself because he was trying to save him. That like if we're going off of the theory that it possibly could be a cure, that could be what happened. And that maybe that's why people think Brennan is a Venom, because he knows what it's like to be a Venom. So he does have some thoughts and stuff like that.
Is to give you more about that theory. Yeah, because Iron Flame, So like the other theory is that about the fact is why people think Naolan is a Venom is because Tyrion won't talk about him. Right? Like that's weird. Why won't like Tyrion's like we will not speak if the one comes before you. Like that's weird, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The other one is that it's not I kind of misphrased it when I said, oh, I think Brennan's a Venom and stuff like that. So I think Brennan is a Venom. That theory is more after Onyx Storm. The other theory that I find very interesting about Brennan, and this is really what the fandom thinks, is because I literally just remembered it, is they don't think he's a Venom. They think that Naolan, this would only work if Naolan is the sage. If Naolan is the sage, the idea behind it is because of the runes on his hands, is they think that he's actually considered would be like a reverend. Because the reverend or the whatever they're called, they're powered by runes inside of them. And we know that when they cut them open in Iron Flame and the rocks come out of them, they're all ruins. So the theory is that Naolan lost Brennan. Like Brennan did die, lost him. And then in his anger and sadness and all that, because they were lovers, he turns Venom, he works his way up and he figures out a way basically to save him, and he brings him back to life as a reverend, or a Wavering. But the whole theory is that Brennan doesn't know is kind of the thing. But that's where I'm like, maybe I don't really know. And
that makes more sense than Brennan
crazy.
being a Venom.
Yeah, and it sounds crazy, but and I just can't tell you, but when you get to that part in Onyx Storm, we could talk about it. There's a part in Onyx Storm where you're just like, there's no way, because for instance, this is not a spoiler, but when Dane touches Jack Barlowe and he pulls away, he almost goes cold. Where Jack touches him is
he says it's like an ice burn.
Yes. There is something that happens in Onyx Storm that backs that theory, but then it doesn't happen, and that's when people are like, why the fuck does it not happen? That doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? But that's the whole theory of it. I think it could be either one, but because I think the whole thing about him being the dragon it's out there to me, but it does make sense because there are ruins on his hands, and Violet makes a comment about it when she sees him again too for the first time. She's like, why do you have what are those marks on your hands? Because she doesn't know what they are, and he's like, oh, they're ruins. Then it's you know what I mean? It's just an interesting theory. It's probably so wrong, but it's a fun theory.
No, I think that him being a wyvern makes more sense than, or him being a type of wyvern makes more sense than him being Venom.
He could be imbued too.
I am interested to see the whole, because we don't know enough, and more shit's getting thrown at us before we're learning more about what already happened. Yes. So the more shit we're learning, we're getting more potential possibilities that we're trying to craft out of what happened in the past.
That's what Onyx Storm does. Onyx Storm gives you answers to stuff that you're dying to know, and then it just opens the door to a million other things. And you're just okay. Cool.
That's I'm pumped for Onyx Storm, and then I'll be pissed that we have to wait so long for Bookclub.
What'd you say? Looking skinny?
You're looking really skinny over there. You got to eat, dude.
Is that a tricep slip right there? Dude, I'm eating, bro.
Can I send you food?
Dude, if you want to trust me.
You look a little skinny over there.
I want someone to cook for me. That's, to be honest with you.
On the Cali diet.
Is on the what you said?
The Cali diet. Yeah, this is straight California diet.
Nothing but the devil's lettuce and tacos.
Yeah, he doesn't need to worry about the cold. He doesn't need to bulk up for it.
Yeah, no, there's no cold. Dude. It's 65 degrees today. And it's what? March?
Oh, that's what we're getting.
Actually, it was warmer here. It was 70 degrees today. Yeah. It's warmer here.
Yeah, but it's been 65 every day. It's the winter.
Sick flex, dude. All right, I feel
we got it. How's your taxes, asshole?
I haven't even done my taxes. I don't want to pay it, but I will do it eventually.
I don't want to pay it.
I don't want to pay it. I'm already distraught about it.
Damn. Do you guys got any other thoughts?
Nice. I feel like that pretty much closes it up, unless you got something, Greg.
I'm trying to think if I have any closing remarks. I think we kind of touched on everything. I think my wild take tank is empty right now. I don't have any more
They weren't
cooking.
as hot as I thought they were going to be.
I just think they weren't as hot
They're solid,
because I think you guys are already on the same wavelength. I thought you guys were going to be like Zayden Lover, like Zayden can do no wrong.
No,
So
I love Zayden, but like
I love Zayden too, but I think
he's
he
also
has
like
flaws.
he acts like an 8th grader sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, he actually is a little
crazy.
bitch. Yeah.
But I think the
100%.
hottest takes were the Melgrams have been in, and that the traders
okay.
are actually
You
bad.
did,
That's
yeah,
hot
you
take.
went off the rails
it's a
a
hot
little
take.
bit on me and lost me, but
I like the Melgrams of Enon thing though. I think that's a fun, like that could be really cool. That would be a really cool twist.
he
was
definitely
Venom.
is a bitch. So
Yeah.
there's something going on with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments below if you agree with any of our takes or you disagree. Please, if you think Greg is crazy, comment Greg is crazy. Please do. If you think Zayden's a bitch, I mean, let us know because I think Greg thought that was going to be a hot take, and surprisingly, we both agreed with them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think we're going to start Onyx Storm, or they're going to start Onyx Storm. I actually might reread Onyx Storm with you guys. I haven't decided yet because I only read it once, so I might sit down and read that too because I loved it. But yeah, so I guess what do you guys want to do? 100 pages, first 10 chapters. Let's
You
go
do
minimum
like
100
10 chapters. Yeah,
All right,
like
minimum 10 chapters, and then if
we'll
you
see
guys
what
know
10
more,
chapters looks like page length. If like 10 chapters is like 100, we can do like 12 or something. And if like
Alright, so
10
let's go,
chapters
like,
is like
we'll do, like-
150, we can.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go like if you're a viewer,
I think
and you wanna
100 to
read with us-
150.
Okay, if you're a viewer, you want to read with us, minimum 100, max 150. Don't go past 150 if you want to stay with us. Like I said in the beginning, we're kind of just trying to figure out how we're going along here. Again, let us know in the comments if you guys like what we're doing or if you want us to cut back the reading a little bit so we make more content for you guys. I mean, we could really even do shorter videos if you guys want. Just let us know what you guys want. But yeah, please like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified. And yeah, make sure you comment that the Yankees season is over and you should just be a Phillies fan at this point.
Dude, I'm not even on either team, and you're a traitor. You're a traitor to your boys there,
Show
dude.
that. Oh, and go get your Wolfpack merch. There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, you're welcome for the directions on how to get that.
Yeah, self-plug.
Slipping the self-plug, bro.
Yeah, self-plug. But thank you guys. That was another episode of Times New Roman, where now it is time for us to go to bed.
Yeah.
Love you. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.